Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. Okay, so the Save America Act. President Trump is the most brilliant man to be president of the United States, not just in my lifetime or your lifetime. He's the greatest president of the United States out of all of the other presidents, going back to George Washington. He is so incredibly brilliant. And you know, President Trump has many skill sets that no other president has ever had. And what President Trump has done over the last couple of days is nothing short of genius. And if you pay attention, President Trump has the rhinos and the Democrats, especially the Democrats. President Trump has the opposition, the liberals, the never-Trumpers, and the Democrats arguing in favor of the passage of the Save America Act. They do. And if you notice all week long, let me just play one clip. This is a Democrat who's running for Congress who I've never heard of before. But she is running in Texas. Kristen Hook is her name. And she's like a lot of Democrats, pretty much every Democrat, when they talk about the Save America Act. Listen.
And some terrible ideas come out of Texas. My opponent last cycle, who's no longer running here, he's the author of the SAVE Act. He's the author who tried to disenfranchise millions of voters. And luckily, Congress and the Senate never passed that, even though, you know, despite Trump's best efforts. But some terrible ideas come out of Texas. My opponent...
Okay. So, no, it's been passed by the House several times and was just passed again, all right? And if you notice, what she says here, the reason I picked this clip is because it's short, and I'll play some more later in the show. It's short, and she says what every single Democrat has said. The Congress people that are, you know, talking about the Save America Act, the Democrats. She says what every Democrat says, whether they're in Congress, running for Congress, or one of these idiotic talking heads on television. See if you pick up on this. What does she say that is advocating for the Save America Act?
And some terrible ideas come out of Texas. My opponent last cycle, who's no longer running here, he's the author of the SAVE Act. He's the author who tried to disenfranchise millions of voters. And luckily, Congress and the Senate never passed that, even though, you know, despite Trump's best efforts.
Congress and the Senate? She doesn't even know the parts. The Senate is part of the Congress, okay? You got to be a Democrat to think that there's the Congress and then there's the Senate. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so did you hear what she said? Disenfranchise voters. So what's the fallacy with that?
And some terrible ideas come out of Texas. My opponent last cycle, who's no longer running here, he's the author of the SAVE Act. He's the author who tried to disenfranchise millions of voters. And
millions of voters. They don't say Americans. They're always talking about voters. There's a difference between an American and a voter, right? So what President Trump has all of these idiotic never-Trumpers and Democrats doing is arguing in favor of having non-citizens, foreign nationals, legal and illegal voting. And it's really brilliant. And their Trump derangement syndrome is so deep in their DNA that they don't even hear themselves. And, you know, President Trump has always had this incredible ability to manipulate the opposition to respond and argue in favor of what he's trying to promote. And I find it hilarious. So tonight is the big night, President Trump's primetime 9 p.m. address to the people of America. We don't know exactly what it is. He's hinted a little bit. We don't know exactly what it is. But the Democrats are in a panic. The liberals are in a panic. The never-Trumpers don't know what to do. And they've all assumed that it involves 2020, elections, and they've been and the Save America Act, and they've been arguing all week about why the Save America Act is bad. But every time they give you an excuse for it being bad, it's another reason that it should be passed. And these idiotic Democrats with their Trump derangement syndrome have spent the last 3 or 4 days making some of the most brilliant cases I've heard in favor and arguing for passing the Save America Act. You know, just because someone's a voter doesn't mean they're a legal voter. What we're concerned about is the Americans that are being disenfranchised. You know, J.D. Vance, let me pull this up. Someone thought they had J.D. I wasn't going to play this, but I am now. Let me pull this up. And then I have something unrelated I want to share with you. Let me see if I can find this clip of J.D. Vance, which was, J.D. Vance is so good. Yeah, here it is. Okay, here it is. J.D. Vance is so good. He's, you know, these reporters, they think they got the question, they're going to get him. You know, this is J.D. Vance. He's there with MAGA Mike Johnson, and they're asking the vice president, who's favorited to be the second MAGA president, about the Save America Act. And listen to his answer.
Yeah. You mentioned that the administration's top priority right now is passing the Save America Act. Even if it were passed tomorrow, there's not enough time for it to be implemented before voting starts for the November midterm elections. That being said, will the administration support the results of the midterm elections come November, regardless of what they look like?
Well, look, of course, we're going to support the results of the midterm elections. We think we're going to win, but ultimately that's up to the American people. But we also think we have to do everything that we can to discourage cheating. Because you will hear Democrats sometimes say, and I love this line, I can't help but laugh at it, cheating isn't that frequent in American elections. Any frequency at all is a problem. A single ballot cast illegally in an American election is, in fact, the theft of the ballot from another American citizen, from an American citizen who deserves to be able to vote. So you're right. You know, the elections, in some ways, the process is already getting started for 2026, but you don't pass a piece of legislation because you think you're going to immediately benefit from it. You pass a piece of legislation because you think the American people are going to benefit from it over the long haul.
That's right.
We have to do it. Save America is not mainly about 2026, to your question. It's actually about saving America's elections well into the future. Yeah.
I mean, what a great answer he gave, right? They're acting, yeah, it really is. It's like if you have a store, people can come in and shoplift. It's not that rampant, so come in and steal. Why should we have laws against shoplifting? It doesn't happen that much.
Last question. Tomorrow the president's going to give this big speech on the elections. A lot of Republicans here want him to focus on the 2026 midterms and not to relitigate his claims about the 2020 elections. Would you encourage him to steer clear of those unfounded claims that he is actually the true victor of the 2020 elections?
I love these questions, the unfounded claims. You're basically assuming an answer in the very question that you ask. Manu, what I'd say is we can do a lot. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. We're doing so many things. We got the one big beautiful bill passed that cut taxes on Social Security, cut taxes on tips, cut taxes on overtime, delivered thousands of additional dollars into the pockets of the average American family. We're very proud of that. It's one of the things that we talked about in there was we need to talk about it more. We need to tell the American people all the amazing benefits that are in those working families' tax cuts. We also have a lot of other things going on in the country. The president's going to talk about a number of things tomorrow night. I'm obviously not going to get ahead of his remarks, but we can talk about a number of the American people's problems. We can solve a number of the American people's problems. And that's exactly what we're going to work with our House colleagues and our Senate friends to do.
Okay. I mean, you know, they can't get JD. He's very, very good. And what I've seen from the press all week long is really they're having a panic attack about this address to the nation tonight, aren't they? Doesn't it seem that way to you? Does it seem as if they're having a panic attack? It does to me. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think if you look at this, they're worried. See, you know, now that Trump's back, and he's been back over a year, and the great Todd Blanche, who will be the official attorney general, you know, since he's been the acting, there's been so much that's happened, and they're terrified, not so much about what he's going to say tonight. They're terrified over the receipts that he's going to bring to back up whatever he says tonight. And the president has not said what he's going to talk about tonight, but they keep going back to that. seems like they protest too much, right? They really do. And this is their undoing. And what they've done, and it's the same reason the whole Democrat Party is evaporating from existence. It's because they don't understand what it is they are saying. They hate Trump so much. They still cannot give him credit for his brilliance. And they are, they're in another headspace where in their little circle of White House press corps idiots, they sound brilliant. But when they're on their own, they sound like morons. So Trump has them all week long arguing in favor of what he's doing. Now, we're going to be live in a few minutes on the radio. This is the pre-show. If you're new to the program, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I am live every morning, not just weekdays, but 7 days a week. And anytime I'm in the studio, I'm taking live calls, and you're certainly all welcome to call in. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I can't believe it's Thursday already. I wish that the president would have scheduled his primetime address for last night, because we would already know what it is. And the suspense is killing me. And when he first announced it, of course, okay, I'm excited. But the media and the Democrat pundits have been having this panic attack all week. It's really built up my excitement behind what President Trump is going to announce tonight. Isn't that true with you too? You know, I've never seen such hysterics. In fact, many of the news outlets, including the 24-hour cable channels, have not agreed to carry the president's primetime address. And, you know, that's for a couple of reasons, right? You know, they're very arrogant. So part of the reason that they're not carrying the president's primetime address tonight, or at least they haven't confirmed whether they will or not, is because in their arrogance, they think, well, if it doesn't air on our channel, our audience won't know about it. Right? That's part of it, which in itself is insane, because people with the days of the internet, even if you don't carry it on MS Now or CNN, everyone's going to go online and see it anyway. Even if they don't have a television, they're going to go online and see what he said. In fact, when the president speaks, I don't really watch it on one of the TV channels. I usually watch on online, right? Like I might watch it on Right Side. I might watch it on the official White House channel, you know, and in their arrogance, they think that somehow they can censor him and keep people from seeing it. And another reason that that some of these outlets aren't carrying it, including CBS News, as of now they may wise up and change this, but another one of the reasons they're not carrying it is because they don't want to hear it. It's like they have their hands over their ears, la, 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 la. They don't want to hear it or see it because they're so afraid of what President Trump is going to say tonight, and it's going to be a dagger in their heart. And the Democrat Party is on the ropes. And if they don't see it and they don't hear it, it's like that old saying, if a tree falls in the woods and there's no one there to hear it, did it make a sound? You know, and of course it made a sound. There just wasn't anyone there to hear the sound. But that's what it is. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. Okay, we got about 40 seconds till we're live on the radio this morning. So stand by, and if you'd like to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. I got a lot to cover on the show today, and coming up during the first radio break, or maybe the second, I came across this video that I got to share with you guys. It doesn't translate over the radio, but so I got to show it to you guys. So stay tuned for that. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to be live in 10 seconds, a little more, maybe 12. Hang in there. Yep. The toll-free number is toll-free no matter where you are watching. All right. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. celebrating 49 years on the radio. And, of course, we're talking about the president's great speech and announcement tonight. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Jeff from Maine.
Oh, hey, Jeff. What's on your mind,
Hey,
Jeff?
my hope is, and I'm not sure if he will, but is talking about voter integrity, election integrity,
Yeah.
and the voter fraud in 2020. I don't know how he could not talk about it unless there's going to be indictments and they are keeping it under wraps. Because
Well, he's got to
we need
have,
change.
if he's going to talk about it, it's not so much talking about it, it's producing the evidence of it that maybe the intelligence agencies have uncovered in the last year that he's been president.
And, Americans deserve to know that, the cheating that's been going on needs to stop. That's the most important thing in the economy. I mean, the economy is very important too, but I believe everything he's doing globally is going to affect and help America the most. It's going to help everyone, but
Well,
it's going to help America the most.
That's
He
true.
always puts America first.
That's one of the
And,
reasons they hate him, because they want America to be last.
That's right. They want us to be like everybody else, everyone equal, and that's not the way the world works. It's like your show, Brian. Your show, you are trying to be the best you can be and move up and be better. Everything you do in life, you want to do better, right? You want to get
Absolutely.
more. That's part of the game of life. And, when we come here in the morning, we know we're going to get MAGA always.
That's right.
Support President Trump. And that's why I love this, because you don't go on other podcasts or other shows very often and find 100% MAGA first. And that's what America needs. It's America first. And it's crazy that Democrats are against that. It's absolute, but I believe that's what's hurting them more as we go down the road and more people just
Well,
see the
whatever the president,
ludicrous.
this is one thing I've noticed this week, okay? Because we really don't know what the president's going to talk about.
No, we don't.
And we don't know what
Yeah.
he's going to produce. He's hinted that it has to do with elections. And for all I know, they could have worked out a deal to pass the Save America Act through the Senate today, and it's going to be a signing ceremony. Yeah. It could very well be, it'd be exciting if it's a signing ceremony for the Save America Act. That's possible. That is really possible.
It would be that would be the greatest thing
Oh
that
my
could
goodness!
happen, Brian.
Oh my goodness! And could you imagine? Because the House just passed the Save America Act again last night, right? And that funding bill to do so it bypasses the filibuster. And if tonight at 9:00 you sign the Save America Act into law, that would freak out the Democrats, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness!
They would be on defense mode for the rest until midterms. It would put them on their heels. There'd be no place for them to hide.
Mm-hmm. I know, but we don't know.
And
we don't know though.
One quick question. Do you think appointing Senator Lindsey Graham's sister to take his spot, I know it's more ceremonial, she's not political, so how is she going to vote? I mean, I'm kind of in the mix of why would they do that? Why they could have put Trey Gowdy in there or someone that's
because
solid
Trey Gowdy hates Trump. I tell people this. If you watch his show on Fox on Sunday
I didn't know that.
If you watched his show on Fox on Sunday nights, okay,
I don't watch Fox anymore.
Okay. Well, during the campaign, he was trashing Trump every week during the campaign in 2024.
Wow.
Yeah. Plus, and he's just weird looking too. But the thing about what he did with Lindsey Graham's sister is he cut off at the knees all these rhino hacks, Nikki Haley and the rest, right? And
right.
And I imagine she's would vote like her brother. Remember, he adopted her.
I heard her say she was there to complete Lindsay's agenda.
That's right.
So that was promising. That was very promising.
Yeah, and remember, Lindsey Graham raised her. He adopted her and raised her as his daughter.
Yeah.
And
I just heard that story, Brian, and that was amazing. I did not know that about him, and that's pretty. Shania Twain did the same thing. She put her whole career on hold when her parents died and raised her kid brother and sister. That shows great character, and I really thought more of him when I heard that.
And our children are a reflection of us, oftentimes.
Amen.
So I expect her to be like him. And I was talking to Steve about this the other day. I was very impressed with her. I never heard of her before. What I realized when she came out with the governor and they swore in and everything, she is a very overpowering politician. She is very mild-mannered, she seems a little mousy, but she actually has command of the entire room. She's a very influential person, and she's the kind of person in the Senate that no one would ever be able to say no to. And I wouldn't be surprised if she runs for that seat in November. I would not be surprised and continues on. Sonny Bono, when he was in Congress, Sonny Bono died in a ski accident. They appointed his wife to replace him, and she ran and held that office for years. It's not unusual.
Yeah. That's
Murkowski,
true. I forgot about that.
in Alaska inherited that office from her father, right?
Right.
So
wow. I just don't think of it because it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, well, thankfully, we don't want more senators to die. And they're talking next week. They're talking about having Lindsey Graham's funeral next week, and they're talking about him lying in state as well. So
I think they should. And on a quick note in Maine, I think Senator Collins is doing well. There's so many Democrats wanting that, and I don't think there's going to be a coalition of one solid candidate, which is going to help Susan Collins win in November.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a promising thing. Everything's looking better, and tonight is going to be the turn the switch to mega.
Well,
100%.
we can all. While we don't know, I think it would be most exciting if he signed the Save America Act into law tonight. That would just be.
I really believe that's the big thing right there, Brian. Hopefully that'll happen.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Thank you for your show, Brian. I really appreciate you. You take care.
All right, take care. I appreciate the call. Thanks for listening. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. Your calls certainly are welcome at 1-888 465-2631, 888-465-2631. And it's just a great time for the country because we have this great president. Now, after the break, I have some other things involving this I'm going to get into because the big news day, I got a lot to cover. So hang in there, and your calls are most definitely welcome. Now, did you see yesterday that President Trump endorsed Mike Lindell in his run for the governor of Minnesota? And Mike Lindell shot up in all the polls in Minnesota yesterday, and Polymarket even has the odds well in his favor of winning. Can you imagine Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow, becoming the governor of Minnesota? But President Trump endorsed Mike Lindell for governor yesterday. And what better way to support Mike Lindell's run for governor and support this program at the same time by going to mypillow.com and using our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, for huge savings. You're supporting Mike Lindell and this program both at the same time. So, and right now, the mega sales going on with huge sales on the most popular MyPillow products. And, there's a commercial that we're running on the radio station that's recorded, and you guys have heard it. And, here I am, the schedule I put in every day, I wake up at 1:30 in the morning. I spend a few hours doing show prep. I do about a 30-minute live stream every day around 5 a.m. to 5:30, and then I start the show early at 5:45 every morning on YouTube, and I do 3 hours and 15 minutes, 3.5 hours every day of the morning show. Then I got to work all day, and then in the afternoons I have my afternoon show, right, that I do, which can be between 1 and 3 hours. Like I did a 3-hour live stream yesterday taking calls in the afternoon. And the commercials that I do this 7 days a week, right? I don't take any days off. I get our MAGA cruise every year as my vacation, but I'm even working then doing, shows while I'm in my cabin. And the commercial that's running, that's recorded, I said, you know, how am I able to have the schedule I have and sound so well rested every morning and filled with energy all day? Mike Lindell, the My Pillow mattress topper, the My Pillow sheets. You know, the little sleep I get every night, which is between 4 and 5 hours, you know, it's all well rested sleep because I've got the My Pillow, I've got the My Pillow 3-inch mattress topper, I've got everything going on. And it makes my sleep really rested sleep. And you can sleep like I do too and be filled with energy like I am as well by going to mypillow.com and using our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. And right now, remember, you're supporting the man President Trump just endorsed for the governor of Minnesota, Mike Lindell, and the radio show at the same time when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E at mypillow.com. You can also order by phone toll-free 800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back. All right, now we're in radio break, and I wanted to show you guys this video. I want to do it now before I forget. It's unrelated to the politics, but that I'm talking about right now. But it's a really amazing thing. You know how people steal drinks and refills at fountain fill-ups at restaurants and stuff? Dollywood, founded by the great Dolly Parton, has done something I've never seen before with fountain drinks. So you can't steal refills. And this guy demonstrates it. Watch this. Dolly Parton, she's got to be a Republican. Watch this.
Test it out and see
This is at Dollywood in Tennessee.
Test it out and see how it works. So this is just a standard fountain drink. It's not a refillable cup. You can see if I come up to the fountain and do that, it does nothing. Instead, I have to scan. Let's see.
Watch this.
Well, there it goes, finally. You have 16 seconds, so then you can
16 seconds.
get your ice, if you want ice, and get your drink. And what you can also see there is it shows how much you've used and your remaining balance. So it's a few minutes later, and I need a bit of a refill. Let's see how that works. So
this.
I'm going to scan my cup again.
Won't scan.
And I still have time to get something.
See, now watch how it works.
Okay, it cut off now. And it said, well, you couldn't see it, but it said remaining balance 0. So you only get so many ounces in your cup. In total, it probably equaled about 1.5 of these size cups. These aren't big cups at all. I mean, you can kind of see how big my hand is around it. I'm not exactly sure how many ounces those cups hold, probably around 15. But
isn't that a pretty cool thing to stop people from stealing? You know, restaurants lose so much money, and there was another. So I got this still. Let me see if I can find this, because I saw a guy stealing soda, or stealing a refill. I'll see if I can play it later in the show because I can't find it now. But I thought that was a pretty clever thing. Dolly Parton is a very smart woman. I've never seen anything like that. You know, I see people all the time stealing refills at McDonald's and everything else. You know, and of course that theft, it's shoplifting. Pretty smart move. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in let me see. What time are we going to be back? Let me check. Okay, we'll be back in about a minute. We're still in radio break. And I'll get back into the political news. But the speech tonight is going to be so exciting. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Whatever it is, the liberals are panicked about it. And I'm hoping, because this happens a lot of times, I'm hoping I just can't. I don't like suspense, right? I feel like Christmas Eve as a little kid, right? So I'm hoping during the day that it like fully leaks out what he's going to talk about, because waiting till 9 o'clock tonight is going to drive me nuts, isn't it? By the way, guys, if you could please like the video. We got about 30 seconds till we're back. If you could please like the video, I'd appreciate it. You know, when you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So liking the video helps so much, guys. So please like the video. And those of you that are new, welcome. And make sure you subscribe. All right? All right. Hang in there. 10 seconds and we'll be back. Mitch McConnell, I'll mention that, Mitch, when we get back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Have you noticed that we haven't heard anything about Mitch McConnell in a few days, right? They had two things that happened. Both of it just lies, right? The first was Scott Jennings on CNN talked about this 17-minute conversation where he talked about everything and was so with it from the hospital with Mitch McConnell. And then I realized 17, the 17th letter of the alphabet is Q. So I was wondering if Scott Jennings was sending out like an SOS that he was under duress. And he instead of saying about 20 minutes, he said 17 minutes to send out an SOS to let us know that he was under duress and saying things that he had to say. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, so they started with that. And no one believed it. And people are getting mad at Scott Jennings, because he's lying to us and everything else. And then they came out with that hospital AI-generated photo with Mitch McConnell and his CCP handler wife, Elaine Chao. And everybody just ripped that photo up. Like, it's AI, it's fake. Grok on X said it's fake. Everybody knows it's fake. And then we haven't heard from him or anything about him, right? It's it. We haven't heard anything. So, if he could talk to Scott Jennings, I guess, what was that, Sunday or Monday, for 17 minutes, certainly, and have that photograph looking so healthy with his wife, certainly he could have phoned someone in the media and gotten on the air for a few seconds to give us a proof of life, but he hasn't done that. And we haven't seen any more photographs or videos either, have we? So, that tells us what we need to know. All right, so let's get back to it. So tonight, the president's addressing the nation, prime time, 9 p.m. Eastern, or as we call Mar-a-Lago time. I think we should change the name Eastern Standard Time to Mar-a-Lago time. What do you guys think about that, right? They have that Greenwich Mean Time, all that stuff. We can have Mar-a-Lago time. It's the same, as opposed to that. And, of course, there's all this speculation about what he's going to talk about. The Democrats are in a panic. The House last night passed the Save America Act again in this spending. How many times has the House passed the Save America Act? I mean, they have passed this. And, the thing about the Save America Act, which has been stopped not because of the Democrats, it's because of the rhinos. And President Trump has found a way around the rhinos. Thune, in particular, has stopped the Save America Act from passing. And he's been hiding behind the filibuster. And he's been checkmated in the three-dimensional chess game of President Trump. Now that it's been passed through this spending bill, which bypasses the filibuster, John Thune doesn't have any more excuses. And Lindsey Graham's funeral is next week. They're talking about having him lie in state. Lindsey Graham wanted this passed. In fact, the last political thing he said before he died, regardless of what you think was behind his death, his last words to the president were passing the Save America Act. So John Thune, he's just not going to be able to hold it up anymore. And the Democrats, since President Trump announced this speech tonight, or this address to the nation tonight, the Democrats have been in a complete panic about it. And they have been, and they're too consumed with their hatred of Trump to understand. But they've been arguing in favor all week long of the Save America Act. They just have. And I got a lot of clips I want to play. I want to play this one to you first. I played this in the pre-show, but I want to play it to you guys in the radio audience. This is a Democrat who's running for Congress. Hold on, let me get her name. She's kind of a generic. I never heard of her before this morning, but Kristen Hook. She's a Democrat in Texas. And what she says is a variation of what all the Democrats have been saying all week long about the Save America Act. Listen to what she says.
And some terrible ideas come out of Texas. My opponent last cycle, who's no longer running here, he's the author of the SAVE Act. He's the author who tried to disenfranchise millions of voters, and luckily Congress and the Senate never passed that, even though, despite Trump's best efforts. But
here she's running for Congress, and she said this is just like nails on the chalkboard to hear the stupidity of a Democrat running for Congress. She's running for the House. She says it hasn't been passed by the Congress or the Senate. The Senate is half of the Congress. There's not the Senate and the Congress. There's the Senate and the House of Representatives that make up the Congress. She's running for the House, and she doesn't even know the basics of American government. But anyway, did you catch what she said? What she said is what all of them say. Listen again.
Last cycle, who's no longer running here, he's the author of the SAVE Act. He's the author who tried to disenfranchise millions of voters, and luckily...
Millions of voters. And if you listen to the Democrats that are running for Congress, the Democrats that are in Congress, and the pundits on television, they all talk about disenfranchising voters with the Save America Act, which may be true, because they're not talking, what they're not talking about are Americans. Just because someone votes doesn't mean they're an American. Just because someone votes, and maybe they've been voting for 20 years, doesn't mean that they have a right to vote. So if you notice with these Democrats, rarely do you hear them talk about disenfranchising Americans. They talk about disenfranchising voters. Well, if you're disenfranchising illegal aliens that are voting, while they may be voters because they've been voting illegally, that's okay. You want to disenfranchise people that are doing crime from doing their crime. And what the Democrats have been doing with the most popular legislation that come through Congress ever, because remember, about 80% of blacks support the Save America Act, over 80% of Hispanics support the Save America Act, and about 80% of Democrats overall support passing the Save America Act. This is according to CNN's polls. And the Democrats, they're very careful with their propaganda and their wording. They don't say disenfranchising Americans because it doesn't. They say disenfranchising voters because they have so many people voting that are not legally allowed to vote. And so what they've been doing all week is saying the Democrats can never win an election again if the Save America Act passes. And they're really telling you the reason that is because only U.S. citizens that are legally eligible to vote will be able to vote if it passes. And that has them in a meltdown. So what these Democrats are doing, and they're too stupid to know what they're doing, and they're too consumed with their hatred of Donald Trump to understand what they're saying. But what these Democrats are doing is making an incredible case to pass the Save America Act, right? Okay, if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I want to talk about Lighthouse Medical Center and neuropathy. Listen, if you're suffering from neuropathy or you have a loved one who is, call Lighthouse Medical Center. You know, I've met many of our listeners that have been suffering from neuropathy at all different stages. Now, since I was over there recently, I've met people that have the very, very advanced stages of neuropathy, and then people that have even the earliest stages, and people in between. And no matter what stage you or your loved one are in with neuropathy, Lighthouse Medical Center's neuropathy treatment can help you get your life back and rid you of your neuropathy suffering, all right? The dizziness, the pain, the tingling, the falling down, all those symptoms gone. Get your life back. Be able to go out to dinner, be able to go to the mall, be able to drive again, be able to go on vacations. Stop suffering. Call Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. When you call, make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of their no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, we'll take our bottom of the hour break. and be right back. Okay, where am I going? Oh yeah, this is a good one. Listen to this. This is a black woman. She was pardoned by Trump. She was that woman that was doing this long stretch of time from the Clinton drug laws, where she was doing this long sentence for some marijuana possession. Remember this? President Trump pardoned her. And she's talking about people calling President Trump a racist, and she explains how President Trump can't be a racist. Watch.
She completely destroyed that woke journalist using only pure logic.
Why do you disagree with people who say that Donald Trump is not a racist?
I just don't believe that the man is a racist, and it's beyond the media, it's beyond any type of clips that somebody may have cut and tried to put something or perceive something a different way. If any of us do our research, we know that Donald Trump wasn't accused of being a racist prior to his run for office. Donald Trump was at the Michael Jackson trial with him every single day. Donald Trump ran with some of everybody, Diddy, 50 Cent. He's on the Wu-Tang Clan album. This is the same Donald Trump that when Jennifer Hudson's family was murdered, he put her up for 6 months in Trump Tower. This is the same Trump that sent his private jet all the way over to get Nelson Mandela when he was released from prison. This is the same Trump that gave me a full and unconditional pardon. Pardon Kwame Kilpatrick, released 3,100 people from prison, in one day, July 19, 2019. I mean, if that's the type of racism we have to deal with, I'll take it.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. How do you argue against that? It's almost like when he came down the escalator with Melania, it's like somewhere on the way down, they decided he was a racist for the first time. That is hilarious. I mean, how do you argue against that, right? It's really, the left are just sad, right? They throw all these things out to try to discount people because, liberals can't deal with the facts, right? And because they can't deal with the facts, they try to discount people by calling them racist and everything. And whatever a racist is, President Trump is as far away from that as you can possibly be, right? And that's what drives them nuts. All right, we've got less than a minute until we're back. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. And if you're new to the program, I'm live here in the studio 7 days a week taking your live calls. And if you've not done it already, guys, please like the video. When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. Okay, so please like the video. That helps so much. And the new subscribers, welcome. And I want to welcome our newest Patreon supporter, Brian, who became a Patreon supporter. Welcome, Brian, our latest Patreon supporter. Brian, who spells his Brian with a Y. I spell mine with an I. So Brian with a Y, welcome. All right, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I got a couple clips I want to play. First one I want to play, those of you out there that are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, the docs from Texas and everyone else, okay? I've got something I'm going to play for you in a few minutes. Jay from Jersey, Renee from Harlem. You're going to have some explaining to do. All right, let's take another call or two before I share that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Robel Gizachu, legally blind man from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Salam, Bala, Bagowal. Salam, Bagowal.
Could you please speak English?
I just said, how have you had a blessed night's sleep? And hello. That's all I said.
Well, good. Okay. All right. So you're speaking Ethiopian, I guess. Okay.
Yes, Amharic, Ethiopian Amharic. Really, Brian? Are you serious? I've been stealing from fast food, Burger King, and all of them for like God knows since I was a teenager. I'm 36.
Unless they say free refills, you're stealing when you go up there. Yes.
Oh my gosh, I didn't never realize.
But you're blind. You're blind. You can't see the signs. You can't read the signs.
No, because sometimes some restaurants, fast food joints don't have the refillable thing. So you go up to the cash register and you ask them, "Can I get a?" I ask them, "Can I get a refill?" Because
some restaurants allow free refills and some do not.
Oh, I never knew. I thought it was just complimentary or something because they tell you to take off the lid and they refill it for you.
You sound like that's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard from a call. That's like that episode of Seinfeld where George thought that the umbrellas in the cans at the doors were like free umbrellas, and he was stealing umbrellas his whole life. Oh my goodness. All right, what else? What else is on your mind before I move on? I'm getting bored with your call.
Mitch McConnell, he's in a bad situation. Why are you keep saying his CCP handler wife or this and that? Well, I mean, why don't you just call her his wife? That's his wife.
Because accuracy. She is his CCP handler. She's a spy.
Okay. But that's still his wife. I mean, you're just concerned about him.
In name only.
I mean,
in name only.
Okay. What type of, is he in critical or is he okay?
We don't know. They keep telling us he's great, but how blind are you? Blind enough to see Mitch McConnell? Like, you know what he looks like? Do you have enough vision?
Let's just put it. No, I know Mitch McConnell.
Okay.
He's not the best looking person.
Mitch
elderly
McConnell is one of the most physically repulsive men in America. Right?
Oh, come on. Yeah, I see. I can see him clearly when I look up close.
Okay.
But okay. All
I
right.
mean, even the blind can see the. I mean, it doesn't get much more ugly than Mitch McConnell. So explain to me why someone who is one of the most physically repulsive men alive, certainly in the Congress, why would a good-looking woman from China, who's worth millions of dollars, who comes from a politically connected family, who's worth many millions of dollars in China, why would she marry the most physically repulsive man that you could imagine, Mitch McConnell? Why what other reason? I mean, he basically looks like Rocky in Mask. Remember Rocky? That movie with Cher, Mask? That's basically what McConnell looks like, Rocky from Mask.
I thought he was a Trumper. He's a never Trumper?
Mitch McConnell, yes. So why would a woman that has everything going for her that she has marry arguably the ugliest American alive?
I don't know, maybe for power, like Melania married Trump. Why did Melania marry Trump? She's a model. He's like, what, 20, 25 years younger than
President Trump has a lot of things. President Trump has a lot of things going for him that Mitch doesn't. He has good looks and charisma.
Okay, I understand. Mitch McConnell has power in America.
Exactly. Well, some argue that he has power because of the CCP. And when he married her, do you know what her Chinese father? When Mitch.
That's what I was going to ask. Wasn't he like a vice president? Sorry to cut you off.
When Mitch McConnell married his wife, he received a gift from her Chinese father in China. You know what that gift was? What do you think?
Like a dowry or something, huh?
Yeah, $15 million. $15 million.
Oh, wow.
He should have been paying him. The way he looks, he should have been paying the dad.
To marry his wife, to marry his daughter.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like.
See, it all makes sense now, right? It all makes sense.
Champion. Yeah. Okay. I would say Tabata.
No more Ethiopian. This English only on this program. I don't know what you're saying. No foreign languages allowed. Okay, now I want to play. Joe. Let's see here. Let me cue it up. Here, hold on a second. I want to cue this up. All right, this is for Doc and Jay from Jersey, Renee from Harlem. Okay, this woman, she's African American. She's the lady that was pardoned by President Trump, who was doing this long stretch in prison for marijuana possession under the Bill Clinton drug laws. And she's talking about how President Trump not only is not a racist, but it's absurd. Listen to this.
That woke journalist using only pure logic.
Why do you disagree with people who say that Donald Trump is not a racist?
I just don't believe that the man is a racist, and it's beyond the media, it's beyond any type of clips that somebody may have cut and tried to put something or perceive something a different way. If any of us do our research, we know that Donald Trump wasn't accused of being a racist prior to his run for office. Donald Trump was at the Michael Jackson trial with him every single day. Donald Trump ran with some of everybody, Diddy, 50 Cent. He's on the Wu-Tang Clan album. This is the same Donald Trump that when Jennifer Hudson's family was murdered, he put her up for 6 months in Trump Tower. This is the same Trump that sent his private jet all the way over to get Nelson Mandela when he was released from prison. This is the same Trump that gave me a full and unconditional pardon, pardon Kwame Kilpatrick, released 3,100 people from prison, in one day, July 19, 2019. I mean, if that's the type of racism we have to deal with, I'll take it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, calling President Trump a racist is one of the most absurd things. What it is with the left, what it is with the Democrats is, they can't even begin to argue against the MAGA movement, against conservatism, against the Republicans. So they just try to discount and call you a racist, and they think, that's going to do it. And in the old days, that was effective. But the days of the race card are long since past. I'd forgotten about him sending his jet to South Africa to pick up Nelson Mandela. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a good one. What kind of racist would do that? That doesn't seem to make much sense. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. And I can't believe it's Thursday already. And we were talking a little bit about what President Trump's big primetime address is going to be about. And I was talking at the beginning of the hour with a caller, Jeff from Maine, and I was saying, wouldn't it be amazing if he signs the Save America Act into law tonight on primetime television? That would cause Trump derangement syndrome from sea to shining sea at a level we have not seen, well, since he was reelected to his second and non-consecutive term. I mean, it would be the Democrats nationwide, if he signs the Save America Act into law tonight on television, it would be like the same level of Trump derangement syndrome that those Hillary Clinton supporters had at the Javits Center when President Trump won the first time against Hillary. It'd be pretty brutal, and that would be great. I can't think of anything better. That would be. Wouldn't you love that? Oh man. Well, they passed it again in the House. It's going to this. It could happen. I want to talk about Tom Laporta and Laporta Roofing. Tom Laporta is a good MAGA guy who will never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, he will do it. I have met so many listeners and heard from so many listeners in this audience who have just told me incredible stories of the great work that Tom Laporta has done with their roof replacements. And I've also heard from many listeners who thought that they needed a new roof. And Tom Laporta came out and said, no, you just need a simple repair. There was one guy who thought he had a leak, and he didn't have a leak. His air conditioning drainage from his AC was loose and was leaking. And Tom pointed it out to him. When Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing says he'll never sell you a roof you do not need, have you ever heard another roofing company say that? And you won't. Because they're in the business of selling you a new roof, whether you need it or not. Okay? Now, if you need a new roof, Tom Laporta will tell you, and he'll handle the job for you. And remember, Tom Laporta, he works on every type of structure. Residential, commercial, municipal. He works with every type of roofing material, and he covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Also this, he was voted best roofing company in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. What an amazing compliment that is. Voted best roofing company in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Fort Lauderdale, Florida is one of the points of the Bermuda Triangle, and it's ground zero for hurricanes. There are more roofers per capita in the city of Fort Lauderdale probably than any other city in the world. And to be voted best roofer in a city that has more roofers per capita than anywhere else on the planet tells you everything you need to know. Give Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing a call. This number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, so you can call or text, all right? 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are clear. Oh man, what an exciting day! Yeah, where's our race hustlers out there, explaining to me how Trump's not a racist, or he really is? After hearing that, I'd love to hear that. Yep. The toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. Holy smokes. Oh my goodness. I tell you. I just got some really good news on my phone. I can't tell you what it is. It's personal, but I just got some really good news that it's been a very good morning for me, because I've had, if you're on hold, stand by. I've had something going on behind the scenes in my personal life the last week, and it was really some really bad stuff going on the last 4 days. And I just got a message on my phone that my prayers have been answered and everything turned out perfectly. And it's just like, I just felt like this weight just left my body. It's really amazing. I ask people not to text me when I'm on the air, and I put my phone on Do Not Disturb when I'm on the air, because people text me sometimes bad news, during the show. And I don't like that, because when I'm on the air, I have to tune out, what's going on in my personal life, if there's things going on. But I just got a message, and it's incredible news. And the power of prayer, guys. I pray every day. And I don't talk a lot about it on the air because, like most Christians, and I recognize I'm a sinner. And one thing I don't do that is not good is I don't read my Bible, and I don't know my Bible like I should, even close. And I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm a very, 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 very strong Christian person. And I've seen miracles in my life occur through prayer. And the message I just got answered a big prayer that I've been praying for the last few days. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know if you guys have that with your prayers. We'll be back in about 30 seconds, and I'll go to the phones. All right. 888-465-2631. All right. We've got about 15 seconds. We'll be back. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible news. Welcome back, everyone. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig, and this, of course, is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Oh, hey, Renee. Up early, I see.
Yeah. well, you know, some people do wake up. But the thing is I wonder if Yusef Salam would call Trump a racist. You don't even know who that is, do you? You don't know who that is.
Yusef Salam? Is that some type of greeting?
Pronounce his name right, stupid.
I don't know who you're talking about.
No, it's not. He's an elected official. He was one of the Central Park Five that Trump tried to kill.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Please.
So, and he's not a racist, right?
No, the Central Park Five confessed when they confessed.
Yeah, and now he's an elected official.
You couldn't get me. Could you imagine confessing to a rape you didn't commit? I don't think so.
There's a lot you don't know.
Yeah. There's nothing that would get me to confess to a rape or a murder I didn't commit. Are you kidding me?
You're incredibly stupid. You know that?
Yeah. I've kept you on. I've kept you on for like 60 seconds. That doesn't show me to be a bright guy.
Yeah, whatever. But you know what? He's not the only person they found racist. There's a lot of people that found.
Who's they? Who's this Star Chamber committee of people that find people racist? Who's on that committee? Sunny Hostin? Who else is on that committee? Get up. No. Listen, I can put up with a lot, but you tell me to shut up, and that's the end. Okay. All right. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is okay. This is Richie.
Okay, Richie.
I think I believe I believe that I have the answer for tonight. And hear me out. And I'll tell you, I believe that first of all, I went with my wife, who's Venezuelan, as Brian knows, and we went to the Florida Mall, and there was a line around the building to vote against Maduro. Okay, and I can remember the people in the streets of Venezuela because my wife was very interested in this. And it was overwhelming. It was sort of like the Trump's rallies, that the population was behind President Trump, and there was no way a guy like Biden could pull off an election like that, not coming out of his basement. I also watched Mike Lindell. He had all of those seminars over the voting and everything, and they had some pretty smart people, computer experts. And some people actually went to jail because they said the machines were being hacked into, and the Democrats said that's an absolute lie. The reason I bring up Venezuela is we could have gone to Venezuela and just bombed that palace and taken Maduro out. It wouldn't have been as dangerous as pulling him out and bringing him to justice. I believe that Nick, the best witness in the world, the guy behind a lot of this, from probably Russia or China, whatever, and Iran, Nicolas Maduro, knows those machines were fixed, knows he fixed his own elections, knows that he was involved, and there are American politicians involved in this. And I believe that a lot of the Democrats knew about this. Also, the drug cartels who were making big money.
Okay, slow down for a minute, Richie, because I want to understand what you're saying. So,
I'm saying
hold on. Let me hold on. I heard all that. Are you saying that he's going to announce how the Democrats in this country kept this dictator Maduro in power in Venezuela?
Absolutely, and kept the voting in this country, knowing the voting was crooked.
Okay.
And he's going to, and I believe names are going to be named. Nicolas Maduro is the number one witness in the world. You talk about witness protection, somebody who's turned on them. He's looking at.
By the way,
do
we have his wife in custody? Maduro's wife, was she arrested too?
Yes, we have her too.
Okay, following this, when I saw Maduro, he looks like you know what he's like? He's like the father in the Munsters, right? I mean, he looks like a dope, and she seems to be the power behind the scenes. Like she's the real evildoer, is Maduro's wife, is what I says. I don't know. But that's how I kind of take it.
I think this. You're eyewitness. I think this is going to come down to he spilled his guts, and along with their investigation and the FBI and the CIA and everything. They got them dead to rights, and I bet you I bet you he might name names that are going to be indicted. He's probably going to name countries that got involved in pulling this crap on us. But he's got to know that we have, and I believe that there are Democrats that are actually paid off by the cartels because the cartels were benefiting by all these illegals coming. It wasn't just the votes. They were making money in the pocket. How do you think these people go in there and you think it's all in the stock market? I don't think so. I'll tell you the truth. I think there was that little yellow envelope under, because I know corrupt people when I was coming up, even in Fort Lauderdale, that got payola from from underworld people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I believe that the corruption is so deep, and that's why they also want to keep all this, and the Medicaid and all this other crap. They want to keep it all going because they're benefiting on it. They're making money on it. This is just a big scam on the American people. And that's what happens when you get government that's out of control. And every president of the United States and everybody that ran for office, when they lost an election that they knew they shouldn't have lost, they said, "Well, I want to recount something."
I'm gonna tell you, you might be right, and at least that may be a part of it, because I'm sure we grabbed all of the intel down there. But it's been rumored that that the president's going to be surrounded by the director of the CIA, the director of national intelligence, and which is very unusual.
That has to do with Maduro and the foreign governments that are involved in this. Maduro was just a figurehead there. They kept him in power, but those elections in Venezuela were so crooked. And guess who said they were fine? Jimmy Carter. Not for nothing. The masses were against that government, and they still pulled it off. The computer, all of a sudden, they just got enough votes to win.
One of the things yes, I think that that's some very good analysis of what we may get tonight. And I'm hoping we find out earlier in the day, because I don't like, my wife and I, we usually give each other our Christmas presents the night before, because I can't, even though I'm a grown man, I can't handle suspense. I can't, you know what I mean? I can't handle suspense, and the suspense is killing me.
Me too, Brian. I got my Christmas gifts like 10 o'clock at night.
Exactly. I'm not 8 years old anymore. I still do it. I still do it. Yeah. But Richie, you can help me out here. We have a recorded commercial that runs with Richie. Richie, your dentist is Dr. Gupta from Brighton Dental.
Let me say something about him, okay? Not for nothing, people. You go into his office and you go, "Oh my God, this is like, it looks like something from 1960." I mean, not for nothing, he doesn't put his money in his lobby. You go inside his where he does his work. He's got the most sophisticated machinery that any man could have for a dentist. He told me this one machine was so much money, there's only 3 dentists in all of Broward County that have it.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, you see all these commercials on TV with all these fancy offices, and Dr. Gupta does everything. He's a surgeon. He actually puts in implants and everything. He's a one-shop man. The man he's a teacher of dentistry.
Yes.
And I told you before, you're painless in that place. So when you go in there, if you say, "Oh my God, this doesn't look so fancy," that's why his prices are low. He actually owns that building, by the way.
Yeah.
And he told me his retirement, he's going to sell it. That's where he's going to have his retirement money. But he's not in it to make bucks on people. He's a great dentist. You can't go wrong with Dr. Gupta.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You make a good point. Like I remember when my daughter, we got her braces when she was young, and we went to this orthodontist, and he had this saltwater fish tank that went through the entire office. It went from exam room to exam room, from the lobby into the back. And I'm sitting there with my wife. I said, "There's no way we're getting braces. I'm not paying for this guy's saltwater tank." Right, that goes from exam room to exam room. I got the hell out of there. And Dr. Gupta's a top guy. And you met Dr. Gupta. You had an emergency. You knocked out some of your teeth.
I drove 139 miles for this guy, Brian. I told you, and I wasn't lying in the commercial. Anyone knows me on the radio knows I'm not going to make it up.
Each way.
The guy has got it together. He's got it together. He's excellent. He's excellent.
Well,
So,
listen,
I mean,
we're
anybody
running
that needs
against
a
the end,
dent-
so go ahead. Anybody that needs a dentist, start with that. That's going to be the new commercial for
Anybody
Dr.
that
Ginta.
needs a anybody that needs a dentist, you got to go down there because you don't want to get ripped off with these fancy offices and these chains. It's like a chain. It's like Walmart on steroids. All these dentistries that you see all these commercials. You save money by going to him because he doesn't have the fancy lobby, and he does. But he's the best dentist you're going to find with the best equipment inside where he works.
All right, Richie,
So
I got to give out
the
100%. I got to give out the phone number. We're almost out of time. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. And give him a call and tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show and that Richie sent you too. All right, Richie, take care. We'll talk again.
Have a great day.
All right, take care. Richie does good spots. This is the only show where callers and listeners do the spots. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be back right after this. Oh, boy. Does Richie do good commercials? I think he does. He does very good commercials. Absolutely. All right, we're in radio break. I'm going to take a quick break, guys, and we'll be right back.
Are you retired and wondering what comes next? Your experience still has value. Your passions, hobbies, knowledge, and skills could become the foundation of a profitable online business. At retirementprogram.org, you'll discover a practical internet marketing strategy designed to help everyday people just like you create additional income from what they already know. With retirementprogram.org, you'll learn how to build your very first website, even with no programming experience. Discover the basics of getting your website found on Google. Learn to attract targeted visitors and turn that traffic into revenue. This free step-by-step guide explains how to choose a topic, create useful content, improve your search rankings, and explore proven ways to make money online. Retirementprogram.org isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about investing a little time each week to build something that can grow over time and provide an additional source of income during your retirement. Your dream career may not be behind you. It could be just beginning. Visit retirementprogram.org today and get your free guide and share the link on all your social media so your retired friends can join in too. That's retirementprogram.org.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream Bed Sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
All right, we'll be back in about a minute. We're still in radio break. If you're on hold, stand by. And the number, of course, is toll-free and pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. If you're new to the program, welcome, and please subscribe. And everyone, please like the video. And I cannot stress enough how much you help me when you like the video. When you like the video, you are getting the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. And the like helps so much. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. So please like the video. And I know some of you do that every day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's just, it helps out a lot. All right, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. You know, early this morning when I was doing my show prep, I was listening to an old Rush Limbaugh show. And Rush Limbaugh, a lot of wisdom came from that show. And the things that he talks about, Rush Limbaugh, or the things he talked about, are so relevant today and forever. I mean, so many of the things, it doesn't matter if Clinton, Bush, or whoever was president, some of the things that he talks about, most everything, is relevant today with everything that's going on, as crazy as the politics have gotten. I mean, if Rush Limbaugh rose from the dead and was in front of the golden EIB microphone, I think he'd be shocked at what's going on in this Democrat Party today. But I was listening to Rush Limbaugh's show this morning, and he was talking about liberalism and why liberals are always doing these things to go around the voters. And he was talking about how the liberals know that the American people would never vote in support of what they're pushing. And it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, at the particular time that he was talking about, it was, I think that show was when George W. Bush was president, based on some of the other things he said. I'm not sure. It wasn't dated, so I don't know what year it was. But he's right. Liberals know that the American people would not vote for what they're pushing. And another thing that he talked about, and this was a common thing with Rush, is liberals, and this goes for the liberals of today, as just like back in whenever this show was. Liberals think that if we would just do what they want us to do, that we would live in a utopian society, right? And it really is amazing to me when I hear Rush is brilliant, right? Very right. It blows my mind when I hear these liberals talking today that are running these Democrat Socialist of America commies. And, we're against inequality where people don't want and nobody wants and there's no one without. And it is, it's communism 101. And I guess since I grew up in the Cold War and, I went to public school in the 70s and in the 80s, so I learned the truth about communism. And now I think over 50% of the professors are foreign nationals in our major universities, and they're praising communism. And I remember when I was in college at Florida Atlantic University, I took, one of the classes I took was the history of Cuba, which was a really interesting class. And my history books, I kept them in storage in my garage. And I had a flood. I had my hot water tank burst and destroyed these incredible books like Michelle Malkin's The Case for Internment and all these. I had this whole collection of some of the greatest conservative books ever written. And when the water tank burst, it went right into the box where I had all these great books, and they're destroyed. But I remember I had this class, History of Cuba, which had this incredible book on the history of Cuba, and it talked about the communist revolution, and the professor was a Cuban-American exile, very conservative, and she was talking about all the commie professors on campus all the time, and it was so true, But what the liberals are doing now is something we've never seen before. They're forcing upon people things that they've rejected, okay? So I want to play this clip for you in a moment. It's Jen Psaki on MS Now, the lowly rated cable network formerly known as MSNBC, okay? And they started this with Kamala Harris. They're doing this in Maine. And what they're doing is a candidate wins the primaries and gets the nomination, whether it's for president or for Senate. And then the polls, they don't do very well. They're not doing well in the polls, so they want to have these do-overs, and they've done it twice. So Jen Psaki, she has this Maine Democrat who's on the committee that in secret is going to pick who their nominee is. And this is Jen Psaki talking about it. Listen to this nonsense.
How are these weekends going to be conducted? How will it work, just so people who are watching this closely understand? So the first thing to note is that this is one of the most inclusive, transparent, fair processes that we've ever seen a state party put forth under these unique circumstances. We have got an incredible team of staff and volunteers who quite literally have been working 20 hours a day for the past 10 days straight. And most of us have spent more time sleeping on the floor of our offices, Jen, than we have in our own beds. But we've been pushing so hard because Mainers deserve a transparent and fair process.
So Mainers, I guess that's what we're Floridians. You guys are Mainers. Maynard, isn't that the guy from that Disney movie? Oh, that's Mater. So they're working 20 hours a day, sleeping on the floor, trying to figure out how to undo the primary process.
How are these weekends going to be conducted? How will it work, just so people who are watching this closely
by the way, she's the executive director of the Democrat Party of Maine, this girl.
Understand.
So the first thing to note is that this is one of the most inclusive, transparent, fair processes that we've ever seen a state party put forth.
How is it transparent and fair when you've just disenfranchised every Democrat primary voter in the state, right?
Under these unique circumstances. We have got an incredible team of staff and volunteers who quite literally have been working 20 hours a day for the past 10 days straight. And most of us have spent more time sleeping on the floor of our offices, Jen, than we have in our own beds. But we've been pushing so hard because Mainers deserve a transparent and fair process, and we are dedicated to that.
Yeah, so nothing to see here. They're making sure democracy now means when the voters vote and elect someone and give them the nomination, if the person's not polling well, you try to get them to quit. If they don't quit, you bring a rape allegation against them and force them to drop out or they'll get arrested. And then you get into you have this secret committee that meets in secret and you just decide amongst yourselves who's going to be the nominee. That's how they do it. And that's that, and it's so bizarre because the Democrats, you know what the most common Democrat activist phrase is that you hear at all these events, right? You've heard it many times. This is what democracy looks like. They say this all the time. This is what democracy looks like. That's the catchphrase of the modern Democrat Party. Is this what democracy looks like? And isn't it scary to you guys out there that are Democrats? Think about it now. Doesn't this scare you? That this is the new way. And, when people get the nomination, when there's a primary going on, you have multiple candidates, and then when someone gets the nomination, that's when things really get heated because everything's focused on them. And then you find out things about them, and you're stuck with them. You're stuck with them, And, the October surprises. The October surprise comes out. They don't like it, and then, they want a do-over. And this has become the new normal with the Democrat Party. And it's not funny, it's frightening, and it's back to what Rush was talking about. Liberals know you're not going to support their crap, so they have to force it on you. They thought they had it in the bag. Graham Plattner wasn't polling well. And was hurting the races around the country because he's a Nazi with a Nazi tattoo. So they want a do-over. Well, think about all the different elections. I remember when Al Gore ran, after he had the nomination, he was exposed as such a... Remember, I invented the internet. That wasn't true. There was a town hall with George W. Bush and Al Gore, and he was talking about how poor some people were, and they introduced this guy. Al Gore introduced this guy at a debate with George Bush, who was forced to collect tin cans off the side of the highway to buy his prescription medications. Remember that? He drove there in an SUV that cost over $100,000, and that was back in 2000, right? So that's like a $200,000-300,000 RV today, but he's so poor he couldn't. And Al Gore, and this was happening every day with Al Gore. He was just getting exposed again. Or what about, and they didn't replace him, it wasn't even on anyone's radar. Or what about Dukakis, not the tank, but he let Willie Horton out of prison for a weekend furlough, and he went and raped and murdered a woman and killed her boyfriend, right? And remember, the Willie Horton ad, if the Willie Horton ad happened today, they would just, okay, you're no longer the nominee, Dukakis, and they pick somebody else and just plug him in there, even though they didn't get any primary votes. You understand? So what they've done, this is not what democracy looks like. This is what a dictatorship looks like. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, please do. I want to talk about Jamie Levack over at Swift Tax. Listen, if you missed your tax deadline, don't worry. Jamie Levack can help you. If you missed your tax filing deadline this year and you haven't filed, Jamie Levack can help you. If you have past years that you've not filed your taxes for even many, many years, call Jamie Levack. He'll take care of it for you. If you owe back taxes and you're worried about that, or maybe even if you've made a settlement with the IRS already, call Jamie Levack. But if you're afraid of that certified letter coming in the mail, and because you know you owe money to the IRS, eventually they're going to catch up to you, call Jamie Levack. He can take care of it for you. If you're a business owner, you want to get your taxes done and you want to get them done right, Jamie Levack can take care of that too. He can even help you with your bookkeeping and your payroll taxes. If it involves taxes of any kind, Jamie Levack is your guy. He can help you with your taxes no matter where you are in the United States, by the way. And if you're local in South Florida, where Jamie Levack at Swift Tax is located, you're very much welcome to meet with him in person. So give him a call. This number rings directly to Jamie Levack's cell phone, so you can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587 for Jamie Levack at Swift Tax. We'll be right back. Okay, stand by, guys. We'll be back shortly. I've got so much to cover. Hold on. All right. Oh, yes, I want to share this. I got to queue up a couple things here for the next segment. Hold on, where is that other clip? Got so much to cover here. Here we go. Alrighty. All right, stand by. Let me see what time we're coming back. Okay, if you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat. I'll be right back.
Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story and every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers podcast to your Spotify playlist, and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept! Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
All right, stand by. We have 40 seconds, and we'll be back. "30 seconds. If you're on hold, hang in there. Oh, man. What a great day. What a great day. Yep. Oh, and guys, please like the video if you've not already done it, okay? Stand by. We're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Welcome, one and all. What Pete Hegseth announced yesterday, when I first, it's, in this age of AI, when I hear a lot of stories, my first reaction is, this has got to be AI. This can't be real. And pleasantly, it's very real. You have to do your due diligence in the age of AI. This AI is getting too good. Oh, boy. When you think of, now, I want you to ask yourself this. How many secretaries of war / secretaries of defense can you name throughout history? And I don't mean ones that you're old enough to remember, like, Lloyd Austin. I remember Lloyd Austin. Well, he was just defense secretary. I'm talking about throughout American history. Who are these secretaries of defense / war that are historical figures? There are not that many, and I'll tell you the names in a moment. You can count them on just a couple of fingers, and we're adding one to it. But Pete Hegseth is going to go down in history as the greatest secretary of war / defense that the country has ever had. There are three secretaries of defense and secretaries of war that are historical figures that every American learns about in school. Stanton, who was the war secretary for President Lincoln when he was assassinated, Stanton. McNamara was the secretary of defense for President Kennedy, and he hung over with Johnson because of the war in Vietnam, McNamara. And the third historical figure is Pete Hegseth. And McNamara is remembered for the massacres of Vietnam. Stanton is remembered for, and whether this is true or not, letting John Wilkes Booth escape. But Pete Hegseth is a living, breathing John Wayne from all the great movies of John Wayne. He's going to go down in history as without negativity as a great man. And what he announced yesterday, and I thought this has got to be AI generated, but it's true and it's real. And let me play this for you, and it's amazing. Listen.
At the Department of War, we have the most elite warriors on the face of the earth. Every single day, you are pushed to your absolute physical and mental limits to master the profession of arms. We demand your all, and you give it. But while we invest heavily in our weapon systems, platforms, and gear, our most decisive tactical advantage will always be the individual warfighter. We have a sacred duty to maintain that advantage, which is why we must constantly look for new ways to optimize your performance, your resilience, and your long-term health. And to meet that commitment today, I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency for our service members, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best. Because it's well-established science that as we age, testosterone levels often naturally drop. Under the supervision of our world-class medical professionals, warfighters age 30 and older are going to be tested annually as part of their periodic health assessment. It's a health assessment that happens every year. We're just adding this test. Those under 30 can voluntarily choose to get the test as well. If treatment is recommended, it's entirely your choice to receive testosterone replacement therapy.
Okay, so he. Now, when you first heard that, can you see that being AI? So, Pete Hegseth has determined, for good reason, that we don't have enough testosterone in the military, and that goes to figure because we had these guys in prom dresses and stuff, in the Marine Corps and the Army doing all these TikToks and everything else. And you want to have guys that have high testosterone in the service because you want to be a tough guy. You don't want to be what was it Arnold Schwarzenegger said? You don't want to be a girly man. And that just blew my mind. So then, I know, isn't it crazy? So then, CNN's John King, he has Kelly on. The Democrat senator, the astronaut, and they're talking about this. Listen.
I want to ask you before you go, because of your experience in the military, the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, announcing a new policy today. Let's play. We'll talk about it on the other side.
I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency for our service members under the supervision of our world-class medical professionals. Warfighters age 30 and older are going to be tested annually as part of their periodic health assessment. Those under 30 can voluntarily choose to get the test as well. If treatment is recommended, it's entirely your choice to receive testosterone replacement therapy.
Okay, now how could you be against that, right? Well, let's hear what Mark Kelly has to say.
Sarah, is it a good idea, bad idea?
It's a weird idea. I mean, and what have we seen from this Secretary of Defense so far? We see him run around on a stage talking about lethality and killing people. Now
That's what the military is about.
Talking about testosterone. This isn't what we need. What we need is better leadership, and it starts at the top. It starts with the president. It starts with Pete Hegseth.
Senator Kelly, I appreciate your time. I suspect we'll be checking in with you after the president's speech tomorrow night. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, John King sounds like he's got some low T going on, very low energy. Get some testosterone there. This is an interesting thing because Mark Kelly knows it's a good idea. You could tell by his response. He was a fighter pilot, naval aviator, and he knows it takes a lot of testosterone to get up in a fighter jet and with not even being in combat, just fly it normally and do all the things a fighter jet does. And he can't get himself to say that Pete Hegseth is on to something good here because because he hates him for obvious reasons, right? And so I consider that to be an endorsement of Pete Hegseth's policy from Senator Kelly. I want to talk about Joe Thomas and annuities, and Joe Thomas, who's going to be he's going to be on the show tomorrow. I got to check. I think tomorrow Joe Thomas is coming in studio. Annuities are absolutely amazing, right? Your money's never at risk, and you're guaranteed that monthly check every month for the rest of your life. So many people are talking about retiring early, right? People want to retire at 62. People want to retire in their late 50s. I hear this a lot. And don't take financial advice from me. I don't know what I'm talking about. You want to talk to the expert, and his name's Joe Thomas. But if you're thinking of retiring and you're thinking about retiring younger and not working till you're 70 and you get your full Social Security, call Joe Thomas. Talk to him about annuities because that monthly check, you're giving yourself a pension every month for the rest of your life, and it comes on the same date deposited into your bank account each and every month. So if you're thinking about retiring, you want to retire early, or maybe you're well above, maybe you're above 65 and you're thinking, can I really afford to retire? I'm getting tired, it's getting hard, and and I don't want to wait till 70. Call Joe Thomas, talk to him about annuities. And the consultation's free. You can take advantage of the no-charge consultation no matter where you're located, okay? Now, if you're local here in Florida and you want to meet with him in person, please do at his office in Jupiter. But even if you're local, you can do your free consultation over the phone or on a Zoom call or a FaceTime call. Take advantage. In this no-charge consultation with Joe Thomas, just to give you an idea, I do this every once in a while because I want you to understand the value of this consultation. Joe Thomas has been a financial planner for well over 30 years, so he's got a lot of experience. But he's also a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, achieved by fewer than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So he's a top man in the industry. And one thing I want to share with you too is this: don't assume you don't have enough money to retire, or you don't have enough money to get involved in annuities. Call Joe Thomas, tell him your situation, tell him your goals. And, you know, I was talking to Joe Thomas a few weeks about this, and I was talking to him about annuities and for my family. And my first question, I said, this is what I need every month, right? And I said to him, is that what most people do? They tell you how much they need every month? And he said, yes, most everybody does. So tell Joe Thomas what you need every month and what you're working with, and let him tell you what's possible, because he's going to put together a custom proposal just for you based on your situation. Here's the number. Schedule your no-charge consultation by calling 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com. We'll be right back. All right, guys, hang in there. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back. The number is pinned in the live chat if you'd like to call in. If you are on hold, stand by, okay, because I'll be going to the phones in just a bit.
Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions? You work hard, but feel stuck, exhausted, or disconnected from the life you truly want? It's time to stop surviving and start living. And you can do just that with the book from author Jane Morales Moras. Stop Dragging, Start Living, Reclaim Your Purpose and Power. Available on Amazon. This inspiring and practical guide will help you break free from self-doubt, rediscover your purpose, and build the confidence to create the life you've always dreamed of. With this must-read and life-changing book, you'll discover how to reconnect with your dreams, overcome negativity, build resilience, set healthy boundaries, and align your emotions with your goals so you can finally move forward with clarity and purpose. Whether you're a student, entrepreneur, professional, or simply someone ready for a fresh start, this empowering book provides real-world actionable strategies to help you stop living by other people's expectations and start becoming the person you're meant to be. Your purpose is waiting. Your best life is still ahead of you. Stop dragging. Start living. Reclaim your purpose and power. From author Jane Morales Moras is available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Start your transformation right now and order your copy of Stop Dragging. Start Living. Reclaim your purpose and power on Amazon. What if you could have a professional website online in just 60 seconds for less than $1? You can with forless.ai. That's FOR-less.ai. Forless.ai is the fastest and easiest way to build a beautiful website using the power of artificial intelligence. With forless.ai, there's no coding, no designers, and no complicated software. Simply go to forless.ai. Describe your business or idea in plain English. And forless.ai automatically generates a complete, ready-to-publish website in seconds. Whether you're starting a small business, promoting your services, launching a side hustle, or building your personal brand, forless.ai gets you online quickly, affordably, and professionally. Spend less time building and more time growing your business. Build your website in just 60 seconds for less than $1. Visit forless.ai right now. That's FOR-less.ai. Forless.ai. Less time, less effort, more results. Forless.ai.
All right, we'll be back in 20 seconds, guys. Stand by. Oh, man, I tell you, what a great day. What a great day. Okay, I gotta do that. Okay. We're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest running radio show. All right, so yesterday, during the show yesterday morning, was one of the most amazing moments in the history of the presidency of the United States, what Donald Trump did yesterday. And all of us lived through it, and it happened on the show yesterday. And if you remember, yesterday's show began with Mark Wayne Mullen. And Mark, we've had these two ICE-involved shootings, one in Houston and one in Maine, where migrants tried to kill ICE agents, and the ICE agents had to fire in self-defense and stop them. And we've been talking about these the last week, so I'm not going to go over them anymore. But Susan Collins, Susan Collins, called up Mark Wayne Mullen and said, hey, can you stop arresting these illegals in their cars? Mark Wayne Mullen said okay, and issued an order nationally. This was the afternoon before yesterday, and ordered, as Secretary of Homeland Security, ordered ICE officers nationwide to stop pulling illegals over in their cars. And conservatives nationwide immediately just went nuts. And on yesterday's show, I was asking the question, I began the show with a simple question. Do you think that Mark Wayne Mullen ran this by Trump and got his okay before he issued this order? And we took calls on the program for a couple of hours, and there was a mix. Some people said yes, some people said no way. Some people said, well, maybe he made this compromise to help out Susan Collins to win in Maine. She doesn't even have an opponent right now. She's literally running unopposed, Susan Collins, at this moment, okay? And then during the show, the president dropped on True Social. He overruled Mark Wayne Mullen. He overruled his order and ordered ICE agents to continue to arrest illegals in traffic stops. And it was during the live show. And when I tell you that that's one of the most miraculous moments in American presidential history, it's because President Trump knows how to read the room like no one else. And he doesn't answer to donors and special interest. He answers to the American people. And President Trump woke up yesterday morning, like he does, goes through social media, and he saw that MAGA world, where people were fuming about this Mark Wayne Mullen order, and he's got a lot going on. He's got the big thing tonight. He's obliterating Iran. And when he saw where the American people were on this, he didn't waste any time. He just posted on True Social and gave the order. And we've never had a president that really truly represents us. They're all about the donors. They don't listen. The politicians, the past presidents, they hate you. We all get in their way. The only thing they care about are their donors. That's all they care about are their donors. What the big donors spend money on, that's what gets done with past presidents and members of Congress too, okay, in both houses, but not Donald Trump. And we've never had a president that was like this before. None of us have lived. I don't think we've ever had a president in the history of the United States that answered directly to the American people like this. That's number one. And we're seeing the presidency in real time. What President Trump is doing and the way that he's governing and communicating with the people through social media, this is what social media is about. When Twitter was brand new, Howard Stern did something that blew up Twitter when it was really early, right? When Twitter was new, people weren't really using it yet. People were still using like Facebook, maybe even MySpace, I don't know. But his movie was on television, and he came across it, and he started giving commentary on his movie on X in real time as he was watching it, and it was a national story because nobody had done this before. Nobody had communicated directly with the public that was a celebrity through social media before, and Howard Stern kind of gets credit for doing that. Well, President Trump has been doing the same thing for the last 11 or 12 years when it comes to being president or a politician, right? He deals directly with the American people through social media. And that's one of the reasons that everything he does turns out so well. And the Democrats and the rhinos and the never Trumpers, they thought they had a big victory with this Mark Wayne Mullen, who turned over Homeland Security authority to Susan Collins. They really did. And they found out that wasn't the case, didn't they? Indeed, they did. All right, let's take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Lenny from Coconut Creek.
Lenny in Coconut Creek. What's on your mind?
It's been, you don't remember.
I remember you. Yeah, I know. I remember you. Yeah, you haven't called in a while.
Yeah, I know. I'm just letting you know, my phone has been I've been cut off from the world for the past 2 weeks. So,
well, it's working now.
The whole story. Yes, so I just want to make sure that I'm able to get through. So listen, we'll talk in the future. Have a great day.
You mean you're just doing a phone check? You just called me to check and make sure your phones were... Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. That's pretty bad, man.
Brian. No, Brian. Okay, Brian.
All right, well, we'll talk again.
Have a good day.
All right, we'll talk again. Oh, my goodness. That's like the worst. All right, so let me get... If you're on hold, stand by. Well, you know, every once in a while, we things happen where we prove to you that the calls are screenless. Because if we screen calls, would Lenny and Coconut Creek have gotten on with that? The board app never would have put him through. Well, that one board app we used to have probably would have put him through. But through most phone screeners or board apps, he never would have made it on the air. So anyway, if you're on hold, stand by while I try to get rescue the show. Don't you, live radio people, you never know what's going to happen, right? So the Democrats and the never Trumpers, watch, now I'm going to get a bunch of people calling with phone checks. Watch. I see it happening now because I'm looking at the lines. The Democrats thought they had a big victory, that ICE wasn't going to be able to stop illegals in the cars, which is insane. And the opposite is true because Trump took care of that. So this is an exchange last night. This is on CNN. They got this new girl on CNN. I don't know who she is. She's a young girl. She's with the New York Post, and she's really smart. And she's on with this panel of liberal jerks and Anna Navarro from The View. Listen.
In 2020, where the backlash to a few disturbing incidents was to say, let's defund the police, that didn't go over. And so I think in the same way, the side that the left is taking is also going to have backlash. And people do want ICE. They don't want to see ICE abolished. And so I think the left is going further and further in a way that actually will alienate voters. One other point, though, I think Trump feels very keenly, and folks in his administration, is he was elected to do this. He was elected because people wanted deportations. And I think it's important when we talk about this.
You know, and it's funny, this New York Post girl, you know, on CNN, the camera keeps showing split screens of her with the other people on the panel. They're all pissed. They're all, I mean, they're fuming, and they're looking at her like, yeah.
Issue to provide the context, because they see every day that passes, if we aren't deporting potentially unvetted illegal criminals, there's an opportunity cost to them. There's an opportunity cost to them. Every single day, every single day.
Oh, now here comes Anna Navarro from The View.
Okay. Last week there was somebody. Last week
permit to be in the country, and he was not a criminal.
Okay, so it's hard to hear with her screeching, Anna Navarro, but they've got this talking point with the guy that tried to run over the ICE officer in Maine. He had a permit to be in the country. Well, that's interesting. Did his permit allow him to try to run over federal agents and kill them? Because, you know, I'm in the country legally, okay, because I was born here. I'm a Native American. That doesn't mean I can run over cops or federal agents. These liberal talking points, do they hear themselves speak?
And over 70% of the people that are getting deported and
my point is that
do
every
not
day
have criminal records. So be careful with your words and be accurate on national TV.
My point is that...
Oh, my goodness.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
You're lying.
My point is...
If the man had a legal status here, he was not unvetted.
So we don't...
No, do you understand how immigration works?
Let me just clear this up. In the two cases that we're talking about here, you have one individual who had no criminal record, who'd been in the country for 35 years.
No one has a criminal record until they do, but the moment he was speeding away from federal agents and tried to kill one, all of a sudden he was a criminal, even if he wasn't before.
I had never had an interaction with law enforcement, and he was not the target. In Maine, you had somebody, we actually don't know what his immigration status was, but we do know that he had a work permit and he had a social security number.
I understand, and that is a tragedy.
And Anna is correct that most of the arrests that are being made are people who do not have criminal records.
Oh my goodness. You don't have a record until you do. You know, I love this. If you don't have a criminal record, the liberals and their stupidity, right? If you don't have a criminal record, you're allowed to go out and do crime because you don't have a record yet? Is that what they're saying? You know, the Trump derangement syndrome has really made people stupid. You know, these are people that are on CNN. Do they still run that James Earl Jones, this is CNN? I mean, is this really CNN? I want to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton and his robotic laser away pain treatment. You know, a friend of mine called me up last week and asked if I could help them get in with Dr. Appleton. And I said, everybody can. You know, with Dr. Appleton, he loves what he does, which is give people their lives back by relieving them of pain. And no matter who you are, appointments are not necessary. And walk-ins are welcome with Dr. Appleton, even on Saturdays. You know, and the reason Dr. Appleton offers this is he understands when you're in pain, you need help, you need it now. Not some, you're a new patient, we'll see you in 8 weeks. You get that at doctors all the time, right? Not with Dr. Appleton. Walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. Appointments are not necessary, even if you've never seen him before. If you're in pain, stop your suffering, go see Dr. Appleton. His robotic laser away pain treatment not only works, it works without shots, without pills, without surgery, without downtime. Not only is it 100% painless, you don't even feel the treatment when it's happening. Give him a call. And by the way, if you have x-rays or scans, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will gladly look them over. And the consultation is free. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. Anna Navarro, she's the worst. She really is. Okay, hold on. Where am I? Where is that? Yeah, look at this. This is the, look at this. This is the Poly Market. President Trump endorsed Mike Lindell. This is Mike Lindell's Poly Market prediction of Mike Lindell winning. 40 to 33% with Mike Lindell winning. Okay, we'll be back shortly, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you want to call in, the number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat.
Have you ever caught yourself wondering, is this really what life is supposed to be? Work is important. Building a career, providing for your family, and achieving success all matter. But somewhere along the way, many of us become so focused on work that we forget to enjoy the life we're working so hard to build. In the book, I Don't Want to Die Behind My Desk, Stepping Off the Pillar Before You Forget How to Live, available on Amazon, author and knowledge warrior Samuel Colin shares the lessons he's learned from nearly 40 years in emergency services, executive leadership, industrial operations, and his own battle with cancer. This must-read and life-changing book isn't about quitting your job or giving up on success. It's about finding balance again, making time for your family, your faith, your health, and the people and moments that matter most. Whether you're a business owner, executive, first responder, manager, or anyone who's feeling buried under meetings, deadlines, and responsibilities, this book is a reminder that your career Medicare should support your life, not become your life. I Don't Want to Die Behind My Desk from author Samuel Colin is available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Before another year slips by, take a minute and look up I Don't Want to Die Behind My Desk by Samuel Colin on Amazon. Order your copy right now.
All right, we'll be back in less than a minute, guys. We're still in radio break. If you're on hold, stand by. No tech support calls, please. Oh, my goodness. We got about 30 seconds, and we'll be back. Steve will be joining us after the top of the hour. $15 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Yesterday, President Trump endorsed Mike Lindell. He's running for governor of Minnesota. And the Polymarket betting odds have him winning 40 to 33%. The Polymarket, and the bookies, they know this stuff. And Mike Lindell, his odds of winning just went up through the roof yesterday after the endorsement of President Trump. And President Trump, he announced a few things yesterday. Listen to this. He's talking about the truck drivers.
The administration will soon take historic action to get illegal alien truck drivers who are just killing a lot of people. They can't read signs. Many of them are on drugs or alcohol, and they shouldn't be driving these things. And they came in totally illegally, and we don't want them, but they are driving all over American roadways, and we're going to replace them with proud American veterans. We're going to take our veterans, we're going to make them, we're going to teach them a lot about driving trucks, and in many cases they know. We're going to say any American who's driven a heavy truck for our military will automatically be eligible for a commercial driver's license. So we're going to get them taken care of.
That's really an amazing thing because, what the thing with the truck drivers, when we had that accident here in Florida, I guess it was last year or the beginning of this year? Because the guy just got sentenced to prison this week, 4 years and a few months in prison, which is insane to me. He killed 3 Americans on the Florida Turnpike, and he's doing less than 5 years in prison. I mean, this guy committed so many crimes. He's in the country driving illegally. He's in the country illegally. He killed 3 people, and he does less than 5 years in prison. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, when that happened, it was a sad story, and I saw some video of the accident yesterday. Oh my goodness. It was really, these things happen so fast. But when that truck driver was killed those 3 Americans, it alerted the whole country to something we didn't know, and that's that the illegals had taken over the truck driving industry. And we've been hearing forever and a day, since the 90s, the Democrats have been trying to give driver's licenses to illegals, and they've won that over and over again. And they would say these stupid things that people fell for. Well, you don't want them on the road without a driver's license, do you? Yeah, we don't want them on the road, period. And I don't think I didn't know this, and I'm assuming maybe you all did know this. I had no idea, but that the illegal aliens had taken over the entire truck driving industry in this country, driven wages so far down because they work for peanuts because they're illegal, and destroyed that whole industry. And how many people have been dying? Liberals on the roads have killed so many people. There are so many people that have died on American roads because of Democrats. These illegals are killing people all the time. I mean, there's hardly a week goes by that I don't see a story in Breitbart or on the Gateway Pundit of some illegal who kills somebody in a traffic accident. And also, the other thing that they've done is the the Democrats forever pushed all of those environmental regulations on automobiles, right? You know, their O2 emissions could only be those CAFE standards. So how did the auto industry do that? How did the auto industry meet the Obama CAFE standards of exhaust and everything? You know what? They lightened the vehicles. So how do you lighten the vehicles, especially when Americans are heavier than ever before? You start making cars out of plastic instead of metal that protects people. So people get in accidents, they're in a car made of plastic, and they're dead. And accidents that you used to be able to walk away from, you don't. I remember I saw an accident. I couldn't believe this. When I was a kid, a woman was in like a Chevy Blazer. This was in the 80s, and here in Florida, and she hit, going about 70 miles an hour, a head-on collision with a Mack truck. And she had her kids in the car, and one of them was in a car seat. They all survived, minor injuries, and I came by after. They were all walking outside the car, right? The mother and her kids, including her baby, and the truck driver. Head on, and the truck had to be going 60, 70 miles an hour too, and boom. In a car today, you'd be dead because the cars are made of plastic to meet these Democrat environmental wackadoodle standards. And we've known about that problem for a long time, and now we learn that America's roads are filled with illegal truck drivers who have been given driver's licenses without proper training. You know, and I don't know if it's still here, but there used to be a truck driving school in Broward County, and I would see the student drivers. I used to see them all the time on 441, like in Margate and Coconut Creek, and I haven't seen them in years. And it's the regular 18-wheelers, but on the side of the truck it says student driver massively across the whole thing, and I haven't seen that for years. So I don't even know if that school exists anymore. But one of my nephews is going to be going to truck driving school, I understand. So his parents were telling us, you know, and so it's a career that used to be a very good career, truck driving, that the illegals took away. And they've killed a lot of Americans in the process too, right? Because of these accidents, because they're not qualified, you know. And so much for what the Democrats tell us. Well, you know, the only jobs they take are lawn crews and cleaning toilets and stuff. No, they're taking and have been taking like real jobs that people used to make good livings at and support families and put their kids through college with and everything, like truck driving. And, you know, with President Trump saying that veterans are going to automatically be able to qualify for CDL license if they've driven vehicles in the service, and they're going to do a big recruiting drive for American veterans. That's a great thing, not just for the veterans, but for the whole country, to have qualified people on the roads driving. And so you got to think about it. How many people are dead from all these stupid things the Democrats have been doing with illegals, right? They're bringing killers and rapists into the country that are killing people. They're bringing other criminals in the country that kill people through their crimes. They're putting illegals on the highways in these massive 18-wheelers that aren't qualified. They're killing people. Think about how many Americans are dead because the Democrats and their open border policy. I don't think we really want to know, you know, because knowing the actual number would probably just make you sick. You know, it really would make you sick. And President Trump, you know, you look at these Trump derangement syndrome sufferers, you know. When is the last time you've heard a Democrat offer an articulate argument against a single policy of President Trump's in his second term? I'll just keep it to the second term. Well, I don't think we've heard it during the entire second term. Oh, he's a racist. He's a this. He's a that. Because the things that he's doing in his second term are universally good things. These are things you cannot take issue with. Now, in the last hour, I got a call from Richie the bus driver. We talked about some things. And then I said to Richie, I said, hey, you're a patient of Dr. Gupta's over at Brighton Dental. And he brought up a lot of great points about Dr. Gupta and Brighton Dental that I didn't consider, and I'm glad I brought him up. You'll hear it all because that's going to be a new commercial for Dr. Gupta that I put together probably over the weekend. I'll be editing that up. But he made a very good point. Dr. Gupta is a small family practice, which you've heard us about. But most of these dental practices around, even if it's got the dentist that you know from years ago, they've probably been bought up by some big corporation. Big companies have been going around for the last 10 years or so buying up local dental practices. And that's why they jack up their prices and everything else. And you're paying these corporate prices. You're basically paying for them buying up all these practices, which isn't cheap. And with Dr. Gupta, he owns the practice. He's owned the practice since he opened it decades ago, right? And you heard what Richie said. He has all the latest dental equipment there. It's true. Give Dr. Gupta a call. He's been the Steve Kane Show family dentist for many, many years. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. And online, BrightonDentalCare.com. That's BrightonDentalCare.com. All right, 2 hours to go, or 2 hours down, 1 to go. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. We'll get to your calls and Steve Kane. My name's Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, back after our top of the hour break. All right, guys, hang in there.
Are you retired and wondering what comes next? Your experience still has value. Your passions, hobbies, knowledge, and skills could become the foundation of a profitable online business. At retirementprogram.org, you'll discover a practical internet marketing strategy designed to help everyday people just like you create additional income from what they already know. With retirementprogram.org, you'll learn how to build your very first website, even with no programming experience. Discover the basics of getting your website found on Google. Learn to attract targeted visitors and turn that traffic into revenue. This free step-by-step guide explains how to choose a topic, create useful content, improve your search rankings, and explore proven ways to make money online. Retirementprogram.org isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about investing a little time each week to build something that can grow over time and provide an additional source of income during your retirement. Your dream career may not be behind you. It could be just beginning. Visit retirementprogram.org today and get your free guide, and share the link on all your social media so your retired friends can join in too. That's retirementprogram.org.
signal that I'm hearing over the radio.
No, it's not. It's fine. Hold on. All right. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve.
Am I here?
I think you are. Are you? Yes, of course. I can hear you fine.
All right, great. What's happening?
Not much. Just a couple of things. A lot of winning going on.
You mentioned before that we were speculating, or you were speculating about what the president's going to talk about tonight, and you mentioned the possibility of his announcing the signing of the America First bill, which is, of course, would be the greatest news in the world.
Oh my goodness, wouldn't it?
Did anything happen that indicates it might be that?
No, that's just my wishful thinking. Like that would be that if I could have my wish of what he did tonight, that would be it. No, there's no indication of that. No, we really don't know. But I do know is that the Democrats and the media are in a panic about it, and most of the media are not, as of now, they're not carrying the speech. CBS, MS Now, they're not carrying it. As of now. They may change later in the day.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's hope, let's pray.
Pray for what? It's going to be good.
I do agree with one thing that I heard you say over the last hour, and that is the speculation that if the bill does pass, the Democrats will never win another national election.
And they know it.
I agree with that.
And they know it because they keep telling us that.
They can't win an honest election. They have to cheat.
Well, what they say is, this is what I was talking about, okay? If you listen to the because I've been listening to these Democrats all week. What they're in a state of is a state of anxiety. Ever since President Trump announced a 9 p.m. Thursday night address to the nation, they've been in a state of anxiety. And
anxiety is not the word I choose. Panic is the word I choose.
Well, that's what anxiety is, isn't it? It's a panic attack.
Panic is way many more degrees than.
Okay.
Than.
Yeah. And well, when you're having, a panic attack, if you're having a panic attack, which I've had before, and when you have a panic attack, and I'm sure you've had them before, Steve, right?
Oh yes.
I
suffer from the chronic.
Oh, you suffer from? Yeah. Okay. Well, there's all kinds of things. Yeah. I've had them, and sometimes a panic attack, it's kind of stage. It paralyzes you, and you get these blinders on, and the worse it gets, you get tunnel vision. And
you can't.
Yeah, and tunnel vision. If you've ever, I've had panic attacks before, and when people say tunnel vision, it's not figuratively; it's literal. You literally can't see peripherally. I mean, you see like a tunnel. You see black on the side. It clouds your thinking. And when your thinking gets clouded, it messes up what you say. Like I remember when I first started on the air, things would really bother me a lot, and I've learned how to tune out.
Very well.
Yeah. I learned how to tune out things going on in my personal life or private life. If I have a crisis going on at home, during the time I'm on the air, I can forget about it. And you have to, because when you're in a state of anxiety, you're having a panic attack, and you're broadcasting, it affects the things you say. And you look. So these people in the media, the White House press corps, and the pundits, the closer we get to this speech tonight, the worse the panic attack gets. And I've been listening to what they've been saying, and what you get, and what we've been getting, is more honesty from the Democrats than we've gotten in a long time. And what I was talking about at the beginning of the show, the Save America Act is what it's called. And they keep saying a variation of this statement. they don't call it the Save America Act, they call it the SAVE Act, right? So if the SAVE Act is passed, millions of voters will be disenfranchised. Millions of voters will be disenfranchised. They keep saying that over and over again, a variation of it. Well, here's the thing.
The illegal ones are the
Exactly. Exactly. What President Trump and the Republicans are talking about, the Save America Act, to save Americans. And you never hear the Democrats, because they're in a state of panic, they're not choosing their words carefully. Just because someone's a voter doesn't mean they're an American, right? So so they're out there actually confessing that the only way they can win elections is if non-citizens and illegals vote. That's what they're saying.
I don't think they realize that on a conscious level, but that's definitely what's going on.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, because they're in a panic attack.
Exactly.
And I love it.
We settled that. Well, I'd love to pass the damn thing. And then I could breathe a little easier.
Yeah, I know.
The country's heading to a very scary territory.
See, I think if the Save America Act is passed, I think California would go Republican in a presidential election.
Well, there's no question because they're winning it on phony votes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In California, where it takes 2 months to do the counting after an election.
Exactly. I know.
They have to stall until they can get enough votes to win.
Yeah.
Sometimes that takes a month or two after the election.
Well, because they know how many they need, right? If you can't really start that work till you know how much you lost by. So
you can't fix an election if you don't know what the number is that you need.
And that doesn't mean, by the way, that we're going to have one party rule forever, that the Republican Party is, what'll happen after the Save America Act is passed, there's going to be an equalization of the political parties. There'll still be a second party, whether it's the Democrats as we know it or another party, but there'll still be a two-party system. But for the
parties will be the same. It's just the results will be accurate.
Exactly. And by the next presidential election, the Save America Act will be in place everywhere in the country, and we're going to have the very first election of our lifetimes that's an accurate representation of the American voters. And and that doesn't mean that we're going to win every election, but it means that the American people, not the South American people, will be choosing who our presidents are and who we send to Congress. And where we're going to see it the most is in Congress. The House of Representatives, they may not have enough, they may, I think it's safe to say that 30 to 40%, and this may be conservative, 30 to 40% of Democrats would not win if the Save America Act was in place in the House. Easily. 30, 40% of them would not win. Easily. Maybe more. And they know it. And that's where the panic comes in. But the suspense is killing me. I don't like suspense. And 9 o'clock tonight, I'm hoping it leaks out before, because I just can't handle the suspense anymore. It's been killing me all week, But listen.
Well, we've got a lot of things on the horizon, so we get used to it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me give out the number. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are. Now, I'll tell you, it's been pretty hot in sunny South Florida. The heat index has been over 100 degrees like every day this week. If your air conditioning is blowing hot air, if there's rooms in your house that aren't cooling off, that are hot, if your air conditioning is running all day long, you want to call Sloman Central Air Conditioning. They have an offer on a new air conditioning system that is absolutely amazing. Listen to this. You can get a high-efficiency 5-ton 18-SEER system that uses R454B refrigerant for just $59.99 with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for 18 months. Your air conditioning system comes with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper service plan, which includes annual system maintenance, filter replacement, and refrigerant, so there's no annual maintenance cost. And get this, You're also going to receive the Sloman Shield home security system installed with 5 years of professional central station monitoring included in your AC package. This is the most incredible AC offer that I've ever heard in all my life living in Florida, where air conditioning is life. Call Sloman Central Air Conditioning right now. 561-217-COOL. That's COOL. 561-217-COOL. 561-217-COOL. All right, we'll take our first break of the 8 o'clock hour and be right back. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute. All right, hold on.
Okay.
Hi, Tom Laporta here. We are Laporta Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because of you, not the other way around. The 2026 rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all the storm chaser roofing companies have gone out of business, leaving only the strongest and the best contractors. At Laporta Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have salesmen or commissions, so we will never pressure you to sign a contract. Also, deposits are not required. At Laporta Roofing, you will always come first. We must earn your trust, and we will. So call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, or on the web at laportaroofing.com.
My goodness.
If you want to
Hold on, no, wait, just wait, hold on. They're getting ready to click us on. Hold on. Okay, I got to do. All right, 10 seconds. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve's here, and we got a better connection now, Steve. I can actually hear you.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
The Democrats, see, this is what the Democrats got a lot of problems, okay? But one of the biggest problems they have is they don't have like a leader. They're a ship without a captain, right? And the whole party is a disaster. And they don't have anybody on the bench that could rise up to be a leader right now. They're a party of crazies, and there's no Bill Clinton.
Well, AOC is the one who's emerging here.
She's a nut.
Go against Schumer. She's going to destroy Schumer.
Yeah, but she's nuts.
She's not nuts. She's stupid. She doesn't know anything. A couple times she started to do some campaigning on her own. She made fools out of herself.
Exactly.
She said things that were so ridiculous. Mm-hmm. They realized that she doesn't have the intellectual knowledge and depth to be able to lead the campaign they visualize for her. She's she lacks talent.
Well, see, if the Democrats were smart, and even though I'm going to tell them what they should do, they're too stupid to take the advice. Okay. But
well, you know that.
So I don't mind giving out the secret. And Bill, Bill Clinton did. Okay, when Bill Clinton was up for re-election in 1996, the Republican Revolution happened 2 years before with Newt Gingrich, where this doesn't sound like a big deal now, but it was a big deal in 1994. Newt Gingrich had the Contract for America, and the Republicans took control of the House and the Senate during Bill Clinton's the midterms, okay? And it was the first time the Republicans controlled both houses of Congress at the same time, like in 35 or 40 years. Isn't that crazy?
A lot of the reason for that is because of Newt Gingrich.
Yeah.
We evidently don't have a Newt Gingrich in Congress right now.
Well, what happened is the Republicans at that time were very popular. Bill Clinton was up for re-election, and what the Democrats were proposing wasn't popular. So Bill Clinton took all these Republican issues and ran on them, and became more reasonable and didn't sound so liberal. If the Democrat Party is in a fight for survival of the party right now, they have these Democrat socialist commies that are about to put them out of business all over the country, right? And if they would come out just on one thing, they would do well in the midterms. Doesn't mean they would win control.
Well, what's the one thing? Do you have anything in mind?
Support the Save America Act. Because if you look,
that's an existential issue for them.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to support a thing that you know either deep down in your subconscious or in your conscious mind, for those that are a little higher up on the evolutionary scale. You don't want to do something that's going to lead to your annihilation. That's why they don't.
No, it would win them. The Democrat, like regular Democrats, would do well. The Democrat socialists would lose. And what I mean by that is, if the CNN polling shows that over 70% of blacks support the Save America Act, over 80% of Hispanics support the Save America Act, and even the majority of Democrat voters support it. But they've been hijacked by these Democrat socialist commies, like in the Squad and everything else. And so they don't have, if they had a Bill Clinton-like figure today, that's what they would do, right? But they're being run by these Looney Tunes. And they don't have a credible person that can step up and say, okay, we're getting creamed here, so we've got to stop being so radical. This is what Bill Clinton did in 1996. We got to sound more rational. Most blacks...
Well, there are people out there like that. For example, Carville is basically saying that. And
Carville.
There are not enough people around listening to him.
But he's a nut, too. And Greg Gutfeld said on the 5
but politically, he sees realistically what's happening to his party.
But James...
You've heard him talk about it.
But James Carville is a behind-the-scenes guy. He's a campaign manager. They don't have a front man. They don't have a spokesperson like a politician. Like if Gavin Newsom wasn't so crazy, they need somebody like that. They need like a credible political figure, not a behind the scenes guy.
Well, they're making the attempt with Newsom, but he's not going to work because he's a two-faced phony.
Yeah.
And it's only a question of getting a little bit of exposure in a campaign that people are going to recognize what his record is self-annihilating.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
Yeah.
Once a campaign starts and people talk about the facts of what he's done to the state of California, he couldn't get elected dog catcher.
Exactly. So I don't know what's going to happen after this election. The Democrat socialists are going to have such a stranglehold on the party.
Whoa. I don't mean to contradict you, but I disagree.
Okay.
I think it depends how this election goes. If the commies get wiped out and this Miami in New York or whatever his name is totally discredited quickly, which is in the process of happening. If you read the New York Post, which covers a lot of New York politics, it could happen very quickly.
Well, okay, this is what I was building up to, okay? Because you and I had a discussion the other day that I disagreed with you on, and then I figured the whole thing out. On Fox, they've been doing a lot of talk about, and you brought this up Monday or Tuesday, about saving the Democrats, right?
Yes.
And
we need two healthy parties.
No, we don't need Democrats. We do not need Democrats. They are the worst, Steve. They support killing unborn children. They're terrible.
Well, but wait a minute. But as far as the system goes, if you have a choice of, you don't agree that we need two parties, that the Constitution is written based on the concept of balance, and that in order to have balance, you have to have two parties, and a third branch, which is the judiciary, to balance everything out.
Well, that's branches of God. No, I don't know. We don't need Democrats. They're the worst. But there's a reason why Fox is in this mode of saving the Democrats. We want to destroy the Democrat Party. Just like and this is what you're going to disagree with me on this, but I'll tell you anyway. Fox has got this theme going that we've got to save the Democrat Party for the reasons you've said and a few other ones. And I'm like, what is going on? Are they a bunch of Dems over there? What's happening? And then a bell went off over my head. The Democrat Party, the traditional Democrat Party, the establishment, not these democratic socialists, the establishment Democrat Party spend millions and millions of dollars every election season on ads on Fox, not just Fox News Channel, the local Fox affiliates, and the regular Fox broadcast network too. And the reason that Fox is in the business right now of saving the Democrats is because they want those ad dollars from the Democrats. That's what the whole thing's about. It's the same.
They're going to get those. The problem with your logic there is they're going to get those advertising dollars anyway.
No, they're not.
In fact,
not if the Democrat socialists take over. If the Democrat socialists take over, they're not going to advertise. They're not going to advertise like that. They have relationships. Fox has relationships with the Democrat establishment for the ad buys, and they're going to lose that. It's all about the advertising dollars, and they advertise on local affiliates of Fox. They advertise on the Fox network, both locally and nationally. Do big ad buys. It's all that. That's why Fox is trying to save the Democrats. They want, if the Democrats socialists win, they're not going to spend any money on Fox.
You don't think the administration, you don't think the Magnani or whatever his name is, administration in New York, you don't think they buy advertising?
Not on Fox or or News Corp or the New York Post or anything new. No, they would shut them out. And that's, they buy ads in the New York Post now. They won't.
They would get new advertisers.
But that's what it's about. That's what I'm telling you. That's what it's all about. I want to talk about life imaging, guys. And what happened with Lindsey Graham over the weekend is another reason that you need to have your yearly heart scan. When it comes to annual things, you do all kinds of things annually, right? You go to the dentist annually, you go for your yearly physical with your doctor, but you need to add to that your yearly heart scan. And even if you have no symptoms and you're able to travel the world like Lindsey Graham, you don't know if that Widowmaker is coming tonight or tomorrow or over the weekend, but you will know if you go to Life Imaging and get the heart scan, and it just takes a few minutes. You don't have to get undressed and put on a medical gown or anything. What I'm wearing now, shirt and jeans, that's what I wore when I had the scan. It just took a few short minutes. They have locations in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach County, as well as Orlando. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements, valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan, and you will be connected in seconds. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute, okay?
Yeah, don't go anywhere. Can I talk to you
for
a second?
No, hold on. In a minute, I'll be right back to you. Hold on.
Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers Podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers Podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story and every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers Podcast to your Spotify playlist and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers Podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify. Are you retired and wondering what comes next? Your experience still has value. Your passions, hobbies, knowledge, and skills could become the foundation of a profitable online business. At retirementprogram.org, you'll discover a practical internet marketing strategy designed to help everyday people just like you create additional income from what they already know. With retirementprogram.org, you'll learn how to build your very first website, even with no programming experience. Discover the basics of getting your website found on Google. Learn to attract targeted visitors and turn that traffic into revenue. This free step-by-step guide explains how to choose a topic, create useful content, improve your search rankings, and explore proven ways to make money online. Retirementprogram.org isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about investing a little time each week to build something that can grow over time and provide an additional source of income during your retirement. Your dream career may not be behind you. It could be just beginning. Visit retirementprogram.org today and get your free guide and share the link on all your social media so your retired friends can join in too. That's retirementprogram.org.
All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here as well. Oh, man, so much happening. Did you have somewhere you wanted to go, Steve? Or?
Yeah, well, what I would like to do is invite somebody. You notice we've got a shortage of the liberal crazies lately, and that's because even if they don't understand it intellectually, on some level, they understand the party's over because they're going to be slain by their own people. That's what's going on here. Most elections are a conflict or a contest between conservatives and liberals, Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
This is a different kind of election. This is an election where they're not trying to get rid of the Republicans. The socialists are trying to get rid of their fellow Democrats. It's a civil war.
Yeah.
And the results of that war are going to determine the direction of this country for the next 4 years.
Yeah,
and there's
that's
a
true.
lot riding on the line, believe me.
Yeah. And, you know, this is the thing. You know, they did it to themselves. I've been telling you, they let these Democrat socialists in so that they could, you know, get this new constituency. And they, you know, they were a Trojan horse. You know, and this new crop they have are... Did you see this interview with Kathy Hochul about the money exodus? from
No,
New York?
I didn't see that.
She did an interview on the local news yesterday in New York, the governor of New York, Hochul, and they humiliated her. They humiliated her. They were talking to her about the exodus of the millionaires, which, by the way, they're the ones that fund everything, right? Their taxes.
Well, that's that's the proof of the pudding.
Yeah.
Is when their tax base leaves, then that's when everything falls apart, and that's what happens every time. If you look at history, a version of that formula has operated every time. That's why there's never been a successful socialist experiment.
Yeah. Well, then she blamed Trump for the exodus, from New York, not Mamdani or her. And what she said was, it's because here in Florida, thankfully, we don't have a state income tax. In New York, you got a state income tax, and in New York City, you've got a state income tax and a city income tax, right? And you used to be able to deduct those from your federal taxes, which meant the federal government didn't get money. The state and the city got all the money. And she said the reason there's been an exodus is because Trump's new tax law, you can't deduct the state income tax or the city income tax from your taxes, so people are leaving.
They're all desperate. They're flailing around. They're desperate. I mean, for crying, they're in their death throes.
What New York is turning into Cuba, because they've got all these people on the dole that they've promised the world to, and they don't. I remember in the early 2000s, there were less than 10 families that were supporting the entire city of New York. They were so rich and paying so much in taxes, right? And they're gone now. And it's going to come a point where there's going to be a massive financial collapse. Hochul bailed out New York City, but she doesn't have the money coming in either anymore. So she's not going to be able to bail them out again. It's going to be a disaster.
And they're all dependent on the federal government. When you stop and think about it, for anything to work, it's got to have the support of the federal government in New York City. And Trump's not going to feed that.
Well, and that's
monster.
That's one of the reasons I think Trump's been nice to Mamdani, so Mamdani can fail on his own, right?
It's called giving him enough rope.
Yes, because if Trump goes after Mamdani, when he fails, it'll be easy for him to blame Trump. But Trump's letting him do whatever he wants to do, and when the city collapses and he's begging, it's going to be all his fault. But you're right. This civil war inside the Democrat Party. See, the Democrat socialists aren't worried about winning the majorities in the House or the Senate. They just want to wipe out the Democrat establishment.
That's exactly right. They want to replace the Democratic establishment.
And I think they're going to be successful.
They want to become the second party.
They're going to be successful.
It's too early to tell.
It's not going to be all this year, but over the next 2 or 3 elections, the Democrat Party is going to openly become the Democrat Social. And the Democrat Socialist, they released their platform a couple weeks ago, and it's calling for the overthrow of the U.S. government. They want to abolish the presidency. They want to abolish the Senate. I mean, that's an overthrow of the government, right? And what I was telling you with the Democrats, they don't have a rational person to stand up and say, "Hey, this is crazy." James Carville doesn't count.
I think we have a transsexual member of the Supreme Court.
Who? Kagan?
I'm trying to remember.
Elena Kagan? The one that was there with Amy Coney?
Well, if you listen to her voice and you listen to her content and you look at her, it seems that it struck me right away. Didn't it strike you?
Yeah, she does have a deep voice. Yeah. That's a good question.
Well, I mean, I think she's a guy masquerading as a woman.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible. But Amy Coney Barrett, did you watch their testimony? She really needs to resign from the Supreme Court. She is owned by she's terrified of the liberals. And all she did, she's going to...
I don't think using the phrase "she's owned by" doesn't capture it. I know what you're talking about, and you're right that the fact is, and Roberts is the other one that is concerned with the public relations and not shaking up doing something that's going to upset the liberals out there so much that they change the structure of the court and lessen its power. And so consequently, they come with this last session was a disgrace, although from what I'm picking up listening to the radio and television, that I think it was Kavanaugh who offered a solution to the problem, but with this rebellion deal that you were talking about earlier.
Well, Amy,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, and well, what Amy Coney Barrett talked about is how she's terrified of the liberals and how her family's terrified.
The point.
So when there's a big case, like she gave her opinion in favor of that. She went the wrong way on the birthright citizenship, right, last week.
Which was a monstrous case.
Because she's scared. She's been intimidated by the liberal mob.
There's no question of that.
She needs to resign. She's not a functioning justice anymore.
Well, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So we can.
No, but she's young. She's young. She's going to be up there for 40 years, afraid of the left. I mean, it's worse than Sandra Day O'Connor. You know, she's a real disgrace. First off, she gave Trump COVID when he nominated her at the White House. You know, I haven't liked her. She almost killed President Trump. I've never liked her since then.
She gave Trump COVID?
Yeah. When he brought her to the White House and announced that she was his pick, she had COVID, and she kept it secret. And she gave it to Trump. That's how he got it. Remember, he was in the hospital? He got it from Amy Coney Barrett. Probably her whole family. Yeah, she knew she had it, and she went there. Who knows who else she infected?
I don't know that I'd take that to the bank.
No, it's true. It's true. We talked about it at the time.
It's true.
It's true. No, she
that
gave.
Sounds like one of our liberal liberal wackos.
No, it was reported at the time when he was in Walter Reed. It was reported that she had COVID when she went to the White House and knew it and kept it secret. And she went up there and was using his microphone and breathing all over him and breathing in his microphone. She gave him COVID. Yeah. And now she's completely intimidated by the left mob, and she'll never give an opinion on anything major anymore that might upset them. And it's really sad. You know, the Supreme Court justices aren't in session that much. They, you know, if she live somewhere else in the country with your family and just fly in when the court's in session. They're in session just a couple weeks a year. I mean, it's ridiculous, you know. And you know, she's a terrible person. She really is. She really is. And
I don't agree with you. I mean, I agree with you that she's in the bag for balancing things out and afraid it's affecting her decisions. I agree with the content of what you're saying, but to say she's a terrible person.
Yeah, she is.
I mean,
she's terrible. She gave Trump COVID, and she won't resign, and she's intimidated by the left.
All right.
Did you hear the conversation I had with Richie the bus driver about Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental earlier?
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about it. Actually, you got the new spots coming on.
No, well, I'm going to turn that into a new spot. I don't have it ready yet. I haven't been able to edit it while I've been on the air.
You know, the other point that we've missed lately in our message from Dr. Gupta, dental problems like so many medical problems, you don't think of your teeth as being medical, but they are. And like any other medical situation, if you neglect it, it only goes one way, and that's down. It gets worse. And you can take what is a relatively minor dental problem, and if you choose to not invest the time, and in Dr. Gupta's case, not that much money, because his prices are very family-oriented. He's dedicated to service, and he doesn't charge an arm and a leg like a lot of these dentists do today. But if you for whatever reason put off and don't deal with your dental problems, the one thing you can be sure 100%, they're only going to get worse. And that's why we suggest that you call Dr. Gupta. He's my dentist, been my dentist for over 10 years, probably over 15 years. I'm being conservative in my estimate. But I'm the worst dental patient in the world. I get very nervous with dental work and all that, but not with Dr. Gupta. Very, very, very gentle hands. He knows what he's doing, and he'll fix what's wrong with your mouth, keep it from getting worse, and not charge you an arm and a leg.
Absolutely.
Which is what's so important.
Absolutely. And just one last thing before we break. You know, Richie, the bus driver who drives 189 miles each way to see Dr. Gupta. All right? Each way.
That's right. That's right.
He made a very good point.
Dr. Gupta's number 2 fan. I'm his number 1 fan, and Richie's the number 2 fan.
Yeah, and Richie made a very good point about Dr. Gupta, you know, because we talk about how he's a family dentist. You know, big companies have been buying up dental practices for the last 5 or 10 years all over South Florida. And you go to a dentist, and it's the same dentist you may have gone 2 years ago, but it's really, he's not the owner of the practice anymore. And that's one of the reasons prices have gone through the roof, because you're paying for these big companies' cost of buying up all these dental practices. And Dr. Gupta, he started the practice, he founded it, and he owns it. It's not one of these big corporate. That's why he's able to keep his prices so low. Give Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental a call, 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. All right, we'll take our break for the Gold Report and be back. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you on hold while I get Youngerman. Okay, hold on.
You got it.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman at the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals look today?
Metals are weaker today, and for those that have been on the sidelines waiting for this drop back down to the major support numbers, we are there again. Gold dipping down to about 4,000 this morning and coming back up right now. But over yesterday, we saw gold trading in the range of $4,016 on the low to $4,081 on the high, and closed out the day down $47.20 at $4,059.40 the ounce. Silver was down 92 cents, closing out the day at $57.66. Platinum down was up $48 at $16.74, and palladium was up $14 at $1,300. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of just under 4,000, all the way up to 4,067, bouncing again off of that $4,000 area, and right now at $4,008. That's down $51.40. Silver breaking through some support levels, actually getting just barely under $56 this morning, and right now at $56.10, down $1.56. That's about a 71-to-1 ratio to gold now, so it's a great buying opportunity on silver. Platinum down $41 at $16.33, and palladium down $49 at $1,251. So these are numbers now that we haven't seen in quite a while. Silver coming back towards that $50 where we broke out back early last year, broke out from the $50 range, which had been a lid for silver for many years, and then ran all the way up to $120 in January. Now has run all the way back down to that support area of around $50, which usually screams of a great buying opportunity. We've seen this in markets before, and it's not unusual for a market to go back and test a major breakout point, and that's exactly what the metals seem to be doing, at least silver is. And that being said, great time to start accumulating at these lower numbers. Gold still finding some support at $4,000, although it could drift lower. But again, a great opportunity to start accumulating and averaging into precious metals if you haven't done so already.
Absolutely. And William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m., and you can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can call toll-free, and you can do all your transactions over the phone at 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, and find both his address and phone number online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care, take care. All right, you back with us, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so do you have a guess on what you've been seeing in the news, what Trump's going to talk about tonight?
No, I was just hoping that you knew something I didn't know.
Oh, I wish.
Because that would be a great thing. Yeah, it would be great.
He said it's going to be several things. Well, these things, it's hard to tell, But when it was first announced, it said he was going to be surrounded by a bunch of people, which included the director of the CIA and the director of national intelligence and others. So I don't know. It sounds like he's going to be presenting some evidence of something.
It sounds to me like he's going to give another speech in support of his war policy, which I'm...
It's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than that.
Well, he needs help. I mean, it's definitely the way it's headed right now. It's not going to be a help in the midterms, and as much as he has said that that's not a factor in his thinking, I don't believe that.
Oh, no, it's got to be. It's got to be.
It has to be, exactly.
But we've been blowing them. He released a video.
I got you to agree with me on that. Yeah, I can't believe it.
No, President Trump released a video at about 1 o'clock this morning that is really things we haven't seen, and that's the latest bombing runs in Iran, and we're obliterating them. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the problem. I mean, I know we can obliterate a lot of stuff over there, but I think they're getting help from people that we thought would not help them internally and in the Arab world. And I think that's why it's gotten out of his control.
I got a leak of what it might be from a credible person, Eric Daugherty, who is he's a news guy online, and he's pretty credible. And this is what he says. He says President Trump is going. This isn't going to be the whole thing, but that tonight he's going to show documentation that there's over 100,000 non-citizens and illegals on the voter rolls in different areas. So he's going to go through the numbers of illegal aliens that are on the voter rolls and have been voting around the country.
Oh, that's nice.
That would be powerful, but the Democrats think that they should be able to vote. So that, I don't know. Oh.
Well, but the Democrats don't agree with the general voting public, and that's going to cost them.
Yeah. So if it's something along those lines, that would be beautiful.
Yeah, that would be a great thing. The other thing that you're going to hear a lot of is on the fraud thing. They just brought that up with time to spare before the election because that's going to be a big issue by the time the campaign kicks into full gear.
Well, I remember a number of years ago, there was a woman who was found dead in her garage. This is a true story in Detroit, Michigan. And she was dead in her garage, and she'd been dead for a few years before they found her. And because Detroit at the time, it was shut down, nobody noticed, right? Because there's all these vacant homes. And when they found her, she'd been dead, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years. She was still voting in every election while she was dead in the garage.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, and I isn't that crazy? So I'd like to know how many of these ghosts vote too. These things that would all help. We're gonna find out in about 12 hours. I hope sooner.
Especially in key states, especially in purple states.
California.
You're gonna, that's the main offender.
Mm-hmm. But they already let them vote in these states. Before we go though, I want to talk about Mike Lindell and MyPillow. Mike Lindell's running for governor of Minnesota, and yesterday he got the endorsement of President Trump. He went up in the polls immediately. He's the front runner in the governor's race now, Mike Lindell in Minnesota. Not only is he the front runner in the regular polls, the Poly Market has him, the bookies, they have him way ahead of the Democrats. And the idea that Mike Lindell's the projected winner for the governor's race in Minnesota, that's who would have thought, right? But after Trump's endorsement yesterday, he's gone through the roof. And right now, with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, there's huge savings at MyPillow.com. He has the mega sale going on, and it's some of the lowest prices you will ever have seen on some of the most popular MyPillow products. So when you go to MyPillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you're saving big. You're also supporting Mike Lindell and, of course, us at the same time. So go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, for huge savings. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. Tomorrow, if you can believe it, is already Friday, and I'm guessing a huge chunk of what we talk about tomorrow is going to be whatever the president announces tonight. But tomorrow,
pretty sure.
I kind of feel like today we're kind of in a, I don't know, like in a twilight state, because everybody's mind is, what's he going to talk about tonight? What's he going to announce tonight? Because he said big, the biggest. So I hope it's really good because everyone's expectation is really high. So I hope it's really super good. But even though that's going to dominate what Steve and I bring up tomorrow's Friday already, if you can believe it, and that means open phones. It's open phones every Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Friday, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. The show prep is up to you. You don't even have to comment on the things we bring up. So do your show prep today, because tomorrow is Open Phone Friday, Open MAGA Mike Friday, which can sometimes be the best show of the week and other times the most embarrassing show of the week. But depends on how good your show prep is. But that's tomorrow.
And we're not easily embarrassed.
No. Well, sometimes with some of those calls, it can be like, I wouldn't say I'm embarrassed, but if somebody were listening for the first time, I wouldn't want them to think that some of those open phone callers are average caller. Like the guy that called me earlier doing the test on his phone, that if somebody tuned in and they're hearing somebody doing tech support with me, just testing their phone out, that can happen sometimes on Open MAGA Mike Friday. The worst was the guy about the frozen peas. I'll never forget that guy. The guy that was talking about frozen peas versus canned peas versus fresh peas from the produce section.
A classic show.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, that was the worst. But that's tomorrow. So do.
By the way, I know you don't bet.
Never.
But I've got a winner for you in the World Cup if you want it.
Okay.
On Sunday. Go with Spain.
Is it over after Sunday?
There's one more game.
Oh,
runner-up for third place game.
This
but
6 months.
There's some incredible soccer games. Incredible games.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great on Sunday.
Are you a soccer fan or just a gambling addict? Like, would you
Don't
enjoy?
You remember the history on this? You were there.
Yeah, that was a
my
long time.
daughters were state champions 2 years in a row.
Yeah, but would you be this into it if you didn't have money on the game?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's always more fun with money, but it's still exciting without money.
Okay, if you say so. Well, listen, we're out of time for today, but we'll be back tomorrow on Open MAGA Mike Friday. My name is Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. This is The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on Open MAGA Mike Friday. Till then, take care. Okay. All right, guys. Hey, listen, thanks for watching. Before you go, do me the favor of liking the video, guys. When you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please like the video before you go. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk.